Hello, welcome back to the Live Reality Games podcast. My name is Steven, and I'm back with more Surviving Reelfoot content. Today, I have the chance to speak to one of the runner-ups of the season, Bash. How are you doing?
Hey, where did you come from? Man, I'm good. Thank you, man, for for putting this all together and all the interviews you've done beforehand. I didn't get to see them all, but what was your question? How am I doing?
Yeah, how have you been doing since the game?
Oh man, fantastic. I didn't even have time to go out to the game because I'm busy self repairing my burned down house. Not my fault. But yeah, I got
What
it.
happened? What happened to your house?
The crackheads next door caught their house on fire, and then it caught onto mine. And I was insured, so got a little money to make it just the way I want. But I'm general contracting it myself. So I've been doing plumbing for the past week. So every single day I'm dirty, fully dirty, and under my house, running new bathrooms and plumbing, electric, ductwork, and just building a house from scratch, basically.
So you have not been bored or idle since Surviving Reelfoot?
No. It's the first day, the first 2 days, I kept going through my, like everybody does, the woulda, coulda, shouldas, and what was my speech at the end that could have won me the prize.
Mm-hmm.
Not that there was a huge prize to begin with, but
the bragging rights are worth everything, man.
There was a way. I mean, albeit it was a stretch, and so I ran through those scenarios for the next 48 hours, but then I was like, I had a great experience. I wouldn't change a thing. And it's time to get back into real life. And I'm super glad that I had that experience. Hats off to Amos, Pete, and Parker for putting that together. It was just top notch all the way. And it was like a dream come true.
So I kind of want a bit start off asking a little bit more about you as a person, because like as a viewer, we start with just getting these pictures. We don't even get names, and it's just like, here's a person. Was that a tricone, or what was the hat style you were wearing in that photo?
That was a pirate hat.
Okay.
As a professional fire performer and juggler, also, I'd get calls for various festivals, events, corporate events, private parties, and I'm in the Cape Fear, Wilmington region, and this place is known for pretty much three things: Venus flytraps, hurricanes, and pirates. And I went into this game actually trying to embody all of those, just to represent. But the pirate hat, it was just a little shout out to my territory, and also relatively strategic, just to diminish people's perceptions of me as, this whole game, I just wanted people to, think that, who the hell is this guy?
I was a little sad that the hat didn't make its way into the game, right? It was just pre-game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was really hoping to see you wear it in the game too, but
yeah, I wanted to, but I knew the first impressions were going to be pretty important. So I think it did its job. I love that hat. I didn't want it to get destroyed.
It's
fair. Not real leather, so I knew that it was going to rain several days, and I had a different hat that I felt that was more. I put so much time into every single aspect of my clothing, and the hat I chose was strategic, somewhat fashionable, and it did the job.
Now, I want to ask a little bit more about yourself, because your bio has you listed as a fire performer, a bar owner, an entrepreneur. It sounds like you do it all.
I've got 9. I own 9 businesses. I don't come off that way, and that's that's the thing. I'm a business graduate from the College of Charleston. I minored in Japanese. I love math. I love accounting. You should.
You're talking to accountants, so like that's my dream right there.
Yeah, my Excel spreadsheets, you would just cream over them. I mean, all hyperlinked to everything, and that's not something that people really expect from me. But it's it's true. There's this other outwardly perception of me, and I don't know what it is. It might be the hair, or I'm 50, so I'm happy I have hair. It just does its own thing. But I don't know. People have always perceived, I'm an artist at heart, but my mind is business.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's always been a kind of a juggling act, ironically, that I'm perceived as this flaky dude, but I'm, but I got, I'm sharp in certain aspects. I am late a lot of times. In fact, that's why I went into business for myself, because I'm always late. I think I can do it better than other people, and I have problems with authority.
So where does Survivor fit into all this for you?
Survivor to me is like a sport.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's I love playing sports, so I don't like watching it. So I was worried about going into this game, and other people always bond over sports and how are the Golden State Warriors doing, or Storm, what's up, how's the Yankees doing? I don't care about that. I want to play the game. So I don't, if I'm not in it, it doesn't bother me, or I don't care about it.
Mm-hmm.
So Survivor, for me, I started watching the first couple seasons, then I went and vagabonded around Europe for a while, and then kind of got back into it around Gabon.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a song for Survivor and applied. I put the names of all 16 casts of people in a 3-minute video, and got a call back from there. And I was like, man, they like me. I should keep watching, learn, practice,
Mm-hmm.
and just fell in love with it, and have been watching it, every episode twice ever since.
Twice is some dedication. I mean, I watch it once and I feel I've done my duty as a fan, but twice is pretty impressive.
Well, you need to see the end result, and then backtrack it, and then see, how the decisions were made, and, what decisions didn't get made, and, just basically dissect it. I'm sure I don't know if anybody's watching this, because everybody thought I played a crap game. So I don't
know. You have some pretty stellar pre-merge moments I'm going to want to talk a lot about.
That's one of them. I mean, there's a lot of other moves. I felt like I was, playing this game pretty damn well. And I'm sure you'll ask me the questions, and maybe I'll actually get a chance to explain a little bit of it to make people be like, yeah, you know what, he was. Or not. I don't care.
So what are your favorite when you watch Survivor, what are your favorite aspects of it? What do you value the most as a viewer or a Survivor fan?
Well, I always like the people who are thinking, whenever I see just basically a dog pile on one person, be like, yeah, this is everybody voting on this one person. There's been a couple times where one person has taken the initiative to not vote with the group, just in case something happens. And you've seen that a couple times from me this season, because what if they did have an idol? And my name was out there so many times. I was like, well, at least my vote will, back up against, at least it'll be a 1-1 tie. So when those votes happen, I love it. I don't care so much for the, I don't really care so much for the blind sides and the, the fanfare. I love the game as it's at its core, outwit, outplay, outlast. It only just happens that this was debuted on national TV. So the natural fanfare goes to, big blind sides, big move-itis. And, there's a science, and a path that, I see in this game, and it's not out lie, out backstab, out all that. So harkening back to Coach, yeah, I even messaged him on Facebook and told him that, that I tried to, replicate his game a little bit. You can maintain a certain level of honesty, loyalty, and integrity in this game, and still, if you give the right speech at the end, I think you can take it.
So how did you discover Surviving Reelfoot?
William Yelton. He gave me a couple links to. I played. William Yelton found me when he was casting for Survivor Facebook 9.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever seen Williams' online game. It's all
No,
right.
no,
There's a million of them. I didn't
I
even
know.
know there were that many. But he used to run a game, and it's had a couple players on it, Dr. Jane and Sunday and whatever. And I was like, all right, I'll play. Went through that whole game playing a kind of a similar game that I did this time, and sold it at the end, crushed it, and I tried to copy and paste basically on what he told me about this and Survival Challenge. I submitted last year to Reelfoot, and they did not take me.
Mm-hmm.
So I pestered them all year. I'm like, if somebody drops out, and I know they will, there's COVID, so let me stay fresh in your brain. This year they reached back out, and I said, okay, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I found out about the game.
So this is your first live Survivor game.
Yeah.
And
This is, yeah, and it was mind blowing. I went in. I don't know how much of my pregame interviews are out there. There's just so much content. I said there were a couple people I wanted to target at the beginning. I was like, anybody who's wearing all black, anybody who's wearing camouflage, anybody who's played orgs or live reality games. I was like, because they might know each other. And turns out everybody plays this stuff all the time. So once I found that out, I just had to go for the people wearing black and camouflage.
I think was Ryan the only person wearing camo this season?
Ryan?
Yeah, was he wearing camo at all? I can't remember.
I guess he was wearing it so good I didn't even see it. You know who was wearing camouflage? Josh.
Oh, interesting.
In his pineapple, sailboat outfit. I actually had mentally thought of that before too. I was like, somebody goes in and wearing straight camouflage, that's going to be too obvious. But how do you blend in, in a loud pattern? And
yeah, not crazy. Ryan's hat was camouflage.
Yeah,
Like,
all right, Ryan,
you're watching,
man. Bum deal at the end, man. I didn't see it coming, man. So where were we?
So
I'll go off on a tangent, baby.
You get cast in Surviving Reelfoot.
Yeah.
How do you prepare for it?
First thing I did is read I have binders and binders of just notes and strategy, and not just strategy, but strategy, approaches and tactics. I break it all down. Then I have a whole nother binder on how people can manage my own stuff while I'm gone. So I had to update that. Had to redo my will, and just try to prepare for every real life contingency, because I do not have a free moment in the day. As far as game related stuff, I read, printed out, reread absolutely everything, and looked for any edge that I could get in the rules. Sorry, Amos, I know you felt like I was a little bit of a rule breaker, and I just wanted to basically with sports, there's again back to Survivor being a sport for me. There's everybody plays by the explicit rules. Right. And then over time, the conformity to convention happens, and everybody starts playing by implied rules, like out, like in Survivor, out lie, out backstab, and everything. Those aren't in the rules, but these are just developed over time. So I always like to move just to the right of the implied rules and make up my own. So I try to implement that into the game. And so anyway, I looked through all the rules, and I was like, all right, I can bring a poncho. I got on Amazon, searched poncho, found basically it was like a fireman's outfit. Right. And, did that. Spent $160 on shoes, that were, and then Scotch guarded them. I got soccer socks. I went through a couple different pairs of shorts. I knew that if I was going to be against the people wearing all black, then I had to basically hide in plain sight. So I wore a lot of white. I thought also subconsciously that would make people think that I was a good guy. So I mean, I just really obsessed over it, and it's part of my nature, and I just put a lot of thought into absolutely, everything.
You mentioned that how you played this online game. You kind of wanted to kind of replicate that game in Reelfoot because your previous game was successful. So talk to me about like how you wanted to come in the game, or how you wanted to play, or what your philosophy of was going to be for the game.
My general philosophy was hide in plain sight because I I don't know. I am fully aware that I seem to live in some type of alternate reality. I mean, I'm in reality, but I just feel like I'm in a cartoon,
Mm-hmm.
which, on a side note, kind of blew me away when I was asked what my favorite cartoon character is because I don't really have any. I feel like I'm my own cartoon character. Um, Damn, when I go on these segues, I forget what you were talking about.
It's your survivor philosophy.
Yeah, hide in plain sight. Basically, be the kind of guy that people, discount and want to take to the end.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted people to believe that I was beatable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't want to sandbag it. I didn't want to play. I did very well in challenges and hung tough physically at a 50 as a 50-year-old guy. I think I crushed it pretty well. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to play the dad role. Um, I my strategy, what I wanted to do was find the people that I knew were going to be in power
Mm-hmm.
and isolate them. And they say keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I was going to identify them, stay with them, and then create some underdog uprising. That's what I said, and I thought that the Yellow Tribe was my underdogs, but man, after hearing all the stuff that the behind the scenes stuff, they were really the better game players. So
I remember hearing you talk about I want to align with the underdogs. Then I saw you aligning with what was the majority alliance in the Yellow Tribe. I was like, well, this is going to be interesting because I guess you saw like, hey, they're outnumbered, they're outgunned. Let's work with these people, but they kind of had a lot of cards.
are we jumping to like day 4
I
already,
mean, we
or
can talk a little bit now, or we can talk about when we get there. But we're still in the
um,
general survivor philosophy umbrella.
yeah, I mean, the first people I attracted to
Mm-hmm.
was the two people wearing black, which were Megan and Sharif. And then I didn't even really think about Josh too much, but
Mm-hmm.
the first two people, first day, I was like, let's work together
Mm-hmm.
because I could just sense that they were going to, you know, there were some other players, Julia, Carly, that were kind of,
Mm-hmm.
laying back a little bit, Barbara to an extent. And I could just tell that they were there to play, just mostly how they carried themselves, how they were dressed, and, city people, Boston, New York, you move fast, you hustle. Right. So I was like, all right, well, I can be a number for them. Maybe I'll
Mm-hmm.
get in this alliance. I don't know, but I'm going to kill them later.
So let's fast forward to the game. So the game begins, and players have to pull a rock out to determine who picks. Let me back up. It's a basically a pick 'em, the tribe pick 'em for starting
Right.
tribes. Do you remember who picks you and who do you pick for your tribe?
I got picked first.
Okay, so you were picked immediately by Barbara.
Yes.
Okay, and
She called me Jack Sparrow.
did she? Yeah, it was like the pirate hat did a great job, kind of like cementing you into people's
It
minds.
worked already. And
Mm-hmm.
then she, seconded it. So I was like, this is working just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because who picks juggler as a job career? Who comes in a pirate hat? That's just, I wanted to be confusing and frustrating a little bit. And so, yeah, I got picked first. And then I don't know who I picked. Do you? You
No,
must have.
I've not gone through and rewatched
Maybe
the
somebody
record
chime
who goes by who.
in because I don't know.
You
I was
probably
just
picked
happy.
a female. You probably picked a female player, right? So you probably picked Megan,
I
Carly.
might have picked Megan
Mhm.
because she um I don't I think at that point I just was so happy being picked first for some reason then that things were already going my way and I wasn't getting picked last that I believe I conferred with Barbara Oh, nice.
Barbara says she saw you at the gas station and immediately thought of Jack Sparrow, so you successfully stood out.
Sweet.
Um,
So to your point, I don't know who I picked next.
and Drew picked Julia, so you picked Carly or Megan, likely Megan.
I believe it was Megan.
So the good news about standing out is it's great for being picked early for a try pick'em. The bad news, well, it's kind of good and bad news. You don't know, right? But everyone's like, all right, vote for a player, and none of you know each other. But you stand out enough that you do collect the most votes from your tribe.
I was pretty aware that would probably be me.
So walk me through your thoughts about hearing the vote and getting the votes, and then everything came after.
I kind of try to act surprised a little bit. And this is not an ego thing. When you don't know anybody, the first thing you're like, well, who stands out or whose name could I throw out? Or maybe they're like, well, he doesn't seem to really give a damn. So whatever, I'll just put his name down. I really felt that it was going to be me. I didn't think it would be a bad thing. I thought it might be, either switching or, or an immunity or some kind of advantage. And it was. Yeah, I actually thought it was going to be, hopefully, I hoped it would be immunity advantage somehow, or that we were going to have to battle.
So you end up getting immunity, which is, you're not going to be first boot, right? That's kind of amazing news. But then you have to mark one player in your tribe with a penalty vote. Yeah. Talk me through this decision that you make.
It was Sharif. I picked Sharif. It didn't take me long. I was fully where I had, they were both like, to me, they were both wearing like tactical gear. I mean, the first day they were all in black.
Sharif and Megan?
Yes. So I was like, I'm going to give it to the big guy. And then my excuse was, well, you're not going to get voted for. Or did they, I can't remember if they gave the other, the other medallion, did the other tribe give the other medallion first? Because if they gave it to Storm, then I probably said, well, they gave it to the big guy. So
Casey gave it to Keenan, but I don't remember who gave it first.
Yeah. I had a plausible reason. I went up to Sharif immediately after and told him the reason. He's like, I totally get it. I understand. I don't know if he ever forgave me for that, and I don't feel like he did. But yeah, I was just had to put it on somebody, and I wasn't afraid of the big dogs.
So, talk to me about your initial experience back at camp. Sharif is confirming that I think he never forgave you for that, or he did forgive you for that. I don't know.
Oh, Sharif, thank you, baby. Oh, you're watching too, man. I didn't think anybody was going to watch this.
Yeah, no, we have Drew, Barbara, Sharif, Dina, Storm, Angela, Ryan, James have popped in at some point.
Oh,
so
they like me after all.
So
want to hear what I have to say. I'm going to try. If you're trying for timeline and stuff like that, my memory is actually pretty good.
We know that from your challenge performance.
That it's not, but there are certain aspects of, of my memory that are not that great, like past history, and timeline of events, parking places at the mall. Not really my jam. But I will do my best. And if I get something wrong, I'm trying not to do revisionist history. So
it's hard. It's hard, especially because like you mentioned before we even started, like, do you watch those other interviews? Like, how much do you let it kind of color your perspective, and then like maybe you want to answer those questions?
I'll have some words for Angela later.
So we'll get there. So you get to the Noga tribe, and talk me through just initial impressions of the other players in your tribe, and who was catching your eye.
Well, first I went up to Sharif, and I was like, well, hey, don't worry, you got that vote, but you and me, we're gonna work together. And everybody started making the tent. I kind of stayed out of it. I've built a couple houses. I felt like I had a better strategy, but I didn't want to be bossy. Everybody jumped on it, and I was like, well, I guess I can go out and find some wood. And I figured as an older person that I probably should, be overworking myself to at least show that I'm, viable. Luckily, we have Barbara there, so if people wanted to get ageist on their asses, then at least they would maybe go for her first.
Mhm.
I figured I would take that opportunity. I thought I was going to, since I was out in the woods, and I kind of looked, but I didn't want to be seen as the guy who
Mhm.
was looking for idols. So I came back with some actual bounty, and everyone knows it. And they're like, well, he obviously couldn't look for idols. He's carrying a tree. All right. So I became like wood guy.
Mhm.
And, just basically, I didn't go in trying to, be the provider or anything like that. But, and I wasn't the only one. Everyone really worked their butts off at camp.
Mhm.
So I did a lot of that. Pulled Megan aside, and I was like, well, she seemed very like reclusive at first, and a little bit pensive, kind of an outsider. So I was like, maybe we have something in common. And she's wearing all black, so I better get close to her before she puts me on the outs. Talked to those two first. Then Barbara came up regaling us with her, amazing stories. And so Barbara and I bonded with the, like, hey, we're both the older people. And then I noticed that there were kind of two girls on the outs. And I was like, those are my underdogs. I'm going to get with them.
Mhm.
So it didn't take long before everybody started walking off and talking. And every time, and Carly and Julia kind of stayed back at camp a little bit. When I come back with Wood, I was like, you two need to get your butt in the game because these guys are making plans. And I made it very, I was like, see those two talking? Watch how their feet are. Watch who's got their hands on their hips. I was like, here's exactly how this conversation is going. I was like, I'm with you guys. So I said that I was with Sharif and Megan, but I was trying to build this underdog alliance. It's just something I really
This is all day one.
day no might be day two. I might have already jumped
Okay.
into day
It blurs together.
okay. Yeah, we'll get it together. I did
Mhm.
say about the timelines. So but this is the general path. I did make some
Mhm.
notes, but I can't really read them from here. So
Yeah, don't worry about it.
yeah.
So, talk to me about your relationship with Barbara early on.
Um, Barbara and I were, I think about day two, we really started bonding. I had been going around getting wood, and
Mhm.
I knew, I don't know when Drew went out, but it's kind of made it. It started to become pretty obvious. Drew, I mean, he really got paranoid a lot and was just running around really frantic, and our camp was so small. I'm sure you've heard many stories about, and was that your
Mhm.
camp when you played?
I was at a whole different site, so I've never seen where you played.
Man, it was tight. Yeah, I mean, so if you wanted to have a private conversation, there were only like two places to go where you could walk off, and it was pretty obvious. Two places that you could go, either uphill or downhill, and um, so it was hard to make excuses. Everyone was relatively apologetic, being like, "I got to pee for the third time," or "I'm gonna go get some wood." Come, the
Mhm.
standard, come back with a twig. Um, but so Josh was just running up and down and getting into every conversation, and I tried to reel him in a little bit. Forget your question again.
No, I think you answered. So, I guess before we move on fully to
Oh,
day two,
Barbara,
yeah,
Barbara.
I think you
Um,
answered it.
so I was kind of just starting to pay a little bit of attention to the outsiders,
Mhm.
because Drew and Megan, and then Josh had started working in with Barbara, and then also working with Sharif. So I kind of saw Josh
Mhm.
as a middleman between Sharif and Barbara. At least that's how I know that's what was happening. But so I knew there were some, because somebody had to find some clues or some idols or something,
Mhm.
and Barb was the only one that told me, shared with me a clue. So I was like, thank you for sharing some stuff with me, because I think there's some conversations happening around here and I'm not in it. So, thank you for showing me some love, and let's continue talking. I walked around trying to find the idol with the clue that she gave me. Um, and yeah, so that kind of, we started the bond at the beginning.
So day two ends up being for the most part, at least when it comes to reward challenges, ends up being a very good day for the Doga tribe, right? Talk to me about the SOS challenge for you.
Barbara rolled in with like I don't know, 5,000 packs of toilet paper. Because I guess they said you could bring in as many as you wanted, and I can't believe I didn't think of it, but that was amazing. Her luxury item, I guess, was a pillow that was also in a waterproof case with a pillowcase. So Barbara had it together.
What was your luxury item?
Oh, mine was a Ziploc bag.
like a gallon size Ziploc bag or like a sandwich size Ziploc
They gave
bag?
me hell for it. They were like, no, I asked for a plastic bag because I was aware that it was going to rain at least, 3 out of the 7, 8 days that we were there. So I wanted my clothes to, be fresh and dry. I was opting for a trash bag and they're like, no, a Ziploc bag. And I was like, all right, a Ziploc bag. I got on Amazon and found out that Ziploc, the big national brand that they are, also makes these 5-gallon, just very large sports. You can put sports equipment in this bag. So since they did not specify the size and volume of the Ziploc bag, I bought the biggest one. And, yeah,
Drew was confirming it could be another tarp. It was so large.
And in case they gave me hell about it, in my car I also had a backup 3-gallon in case I had to concede something. And if they were like, no, it's too big, then I also, had a 2.5, a 2, all the way down. But they never said anything. So I got away with my big bag.
And are you happy with that as a luxury item, or do you wish you had something else?
Nah, man. Once I saw the sleeping mats, I was like, man, I did not think this through. Sometimes you think about things a little too hard. But no, I'm relatively happy with it because I knew that all my clothes were going to be dry.
As a fire performer, did you think of bringing your equipment?
God, no. I do that for a job. It's so I don't. If they're not paying me, I mean, I can make like good money fire performing. That I'm not trying to say that I lost the love for it, but I mean, be careful about pursuing your passion and turning it into a job, because then it does become work. And if it does become work, you learn how to get better and better at it. Yeah, so hopefully this doesn't lose me any fire gigs out there, but I'm not saying I don't love it. I love it, but yeah, no, it didn't even occur to me.
So the SOS challenge, you said Barbara had all the toilet paper.
Oh yeah.
And that was a critical moment. That was a critical design aspect for that challenge.
She was like, hey, let's use the toilet paper, we'll lay it out. And I was like, I always get wary of people trying to take credit for moves in Survivor, because usually so many moves are, it's not one person's decision. It's basically a group think, so I'm always try to be very humble and not take credit for anything. But I believe that I was like, we're going to take some toilet paper, put it on on some tree branches and wave them around really big. And that idea flew. A lot of people had ideas. Somebody was like, let's make a big red X. And I'm like, let's outline it with white. And we just basically used 5 rolls of toilet paper and all of our clothes. And then we came up with some choreographed dance move. And that white really popped. And it worked. We crushed it. We won a reward. I can't remember what we won.
Your tribe won sleeping mats, a chair, and a tarp. So pretty good stuff. And I want to say there was an idle clue in this reward. Barbara, you can confirm. I know you got the idle clue from the boat ride, but I also for some reason thought you got the clue from the chair as well. So worst comes to worst, we'll confirm that eventually. Your next challenge is the slip and slide challenge. Who were you up against in this challenge?
I was up against Ryan. Once I saw a slip and slide, I was like, I'm doing this. I can't. I mean, I own a slip and slide. I have a 200. I go to this one. I used to go to this one festival, and I have a 200-foot slip and slide downhill. So I know how to Superman it. And I was just ready to build up the speed. I knew my approach. I knew the slope of the land, and I have pretty good balance. So I was happy to go up against Ryan. I was a little nervous. I was like, I don't know anything about this guy. And he's probably, wants to win as bad as I do, but I'm just going to go with it, full blast. And I guess he fell out of his boat or something. Next thing I knew, I was like, I am ahead. And I just kept trucking it. And I think everybody was like, man, Bash he's doing pretty good on this. Ran around, got my thing, paddled on back, hopped out of the boat. You had to run up the hill and then take a ring and throw it on a hook. I just ran up and one toss, nailed it, ran back, and I was like, yes. So I executed. And I think hopefully that showed my tribe. They're like, well, we better keep this guy around for a minute.
And then the last reward challenge, you have the floor is lava challenge, right? This is where you have to navigate across the balance beams, memorize a pattern, come back and recreate that pattern to win.
Yeah. Was the memory challenge before that? No, that was day one.
That was like day one. I kind of skipped over that. I apologize.
This is the floor is lava, where we had to go all the way out and then memorize a bunch of blocks. I was last. We just collectively came up with a strategy where I guess, I don't know who was in front, Sharif, probably. We had to all put a board down, everybody go to the board, pick up the last board and send it forward. I was the tail end. If the board hit the ground, then you had to start all over. And we just flew through it, and we all got up there, and somebody came up with a strategy. Everybody learned 5 blocks. There were 60 blocks, I think, 60 blocks. And that would be 12 times. So we would definitely have to go back a minimum of 2 times. So I just took, once everybody had their 5 blocks that they were going to figure out, we would only be halfway through. I just went ahead and took the initiative and just learned the whole bottom 10 blocks. Basically, it was like blue, green, brown, whatever. I took the first letter of each color and made a sentence out of the letters. I don't know. Boys get, young, whatever. And just kept repeating that phrase in my brain, and then went back and just crossed out 10 at the same time. And we did have to go back and get a couple more. I reaffirmed my 10, and we came back and we won it pretty fast. No big story there.
So how are you feeling after winning all these reward challenges?
We're loving it. The energy's riding high at camp. We're getting stuff because we have all just been dropped onto this, planet where it's not our bed and not our refrigerator and not our gin drinks or whatever, everybody has. So I think everybody was kind of a little bit, that's my cat.
What's your cat's name?
Yeah. Everyone was just happy to have a little bit more comfort, anything we could get. And besides, anything we did get would also demoralize the other troop. And and it was a victory. It's bonding. So loving it. That was, I think we won all of them.
You won all 3 reward challenges day 2. The SOS, the floor is lava, Slip and Skyd.
Yeah.
Talk to me about, was there any strategy that was evolving as this day progressed for you?
The only strategy I think that was happening, did not go in trying to, I know that I knew that the players were going to be, 20s, 30s, I'm 50. I have a kind of a bad soccer injury on my left knee. And the first day I was smashing wood because that became fun for me. So I racked my right shoulder, and I was like, man, I'm going to go out quick. I kept moving. And it didn't really change my strategy, except, I was like, I think I'm being seen as a little bit of a provider and, workhorse, valuable in challenges. So I was very happy with my performances, and I was like, well, they can't get rid of me yet. So I was riding that for a little while.
Had anyone floated any names by you at this point?
Names that were coming around were, again, Julia and Carly were very, diminutive and just, just kind of quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So it seemed like they were, kind of the first to go. Then, Drew started. Are we past Drew now?
No.
Okay. Then Drew just started, acting crazy, a little bit crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, that's good for my game because it won't be me.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, I was trying to I hadn't really talked to Drew yet. So I was trying to let him know. Sharif had told me that he had a clue
Mm-hmm.
to an idol or something.
So Sharif did tell you that Drew found an idol clue.
He did, but he only told me after I kind of went up to them. And one of my strategies was to play a little bit more emotionally, or like act like I was playing emotionally, because if people saw me as playing emotionally, then they would not think that I was playing strategically. So I felt that Drew, Sharif, Megan, Barb were starting to form a little of alliance, and Sharif. So I went up to them basically, and you don't do that. If you identify something in the game, you just absorb that information and then adjust your game accordingly. But I went up to him and I was like, "I thought we were in alliance. I thought we were friends. Basically, you didn't tell me stuff, and now my feelings are hurt." None of which was true. And then afterwards, Sharif, that's the real timeline of events. And then he came up to me afterwards and told me that there was a clue, basically throwing me a bone. I know there was much more information out there, and I know they wanted me as numbers. So it was like, all right, hey, we're going to bring you back in. Here's a little tidbit of a clue. It's kind of, and it was really vague. He didn't show me the paper or anything like that. And it was just very vague. And I was like, that's a bone. So I went up to Josh. I'm sorry, not Josh, Drew. And with this newfound information, I used a line of questioning called presumptive questioning.
So Sharif told you that Drew had a clue, and he told you vaguely what that clue was?
Yeah. Okay. So I knew Drew had one, right? So when I saw the opportunity, I took Drew aside, knowing that Drew was basically, on his way out. And I was trying to at least get an inroad with him to see if there was something else to do. And so I was like, so you got a clue? And he's like, who told you I had a clue? And he kind of blew up. And he was like, who told you? And I was like, well, you just did, because, I asked you and you pretty much admitted it. I was like, nobody told me. This is presumptive questioning. And then just at that time, Sharif was all over the place. He was the busiest bee out there. He walks up, and then Drew was like, did you tell him? All right. And I was like, now I definitely know you have a clue. And then Sharif was like, oh man, you spilled the beans. You totally sold me out. But I never told him it was Sharif's name. This is a tactic that I had intended on using. Have you ever tried it? Presumptive question? Yeah.
I have never done it in a game.
Yeah. You just act like and then when they basically admit it, and then you get the information you're hoping to elicit. Yes, Sharif did blow up. So he blew up so much that I was not able to. I was trying to. Maybe this could be my underdog uprising, where there were still enough numbers. I could have maybe got Carly and Julia and Drew plus myself together. That would have been enough to, at least make a play on one of the people dressed in black. But it was a little early for that, and I didn't feel like I was in trouble, so I just and I feel like I was getting anywhere with them. I was like, man, maybe we can be a thing, and it never solidified.
So was the issue so the plan of you Drew, Carly, and Julia come together, putting 4 votes on Sharif, I guess, because he has the extra vote, right?
Yeah.
Was the reason why that plan didn't come to fruition was just a time issue? There wasn't enough time to strategize, or was it just like, hey, there's plenty times later for big moves, but I don't need to make a flashy thing right now.
I just felt like I was talking to a wall with some people. Megan actually came up to me later in the game and was like, she's like, you got to learn to whip a vote. I just, it was still early in the game and there was not a lot of space and time. And Sharif and Megan and now Josh were so vigilant in, keeping control of the conversations and just, I would feel like when I went someplace that I would be babysat by, one of them, or they, would, and I could be wrong, and please chime in if I'm not, but, so they could basically be the 3-headed Hydra, not the, I never said that. I felt weird about that. And I felt, not in it. And it was something I didn't want to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I made that somewhat clear, not explicitly, but I think my actions probably showed that, I'm sure, because they saw me talking to Carly and Julia, but they didn't really have those. I didn't see them, but I didn't really see them. They were so busy forming their main alliance that I didn't really see them talking to Carly or Julia much.
So, were there any players in this tribe you felt like you really were trusting? Because it sounds like there's a lot of players like, I don't know.
I'm not usually a trusting person, especially in this game. I wasn't out here to make friends. And apparently you have to do that a little bit in this game. So I didn't trust anybody. I didn't like anybody. The only person that really gave me, a glimmer of hope was Barbara. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to look in the places that she told me it could be. But, I thought I could work something out with Sharif. I never trusted Megan. Good. Carly was really just sweet, and Julia was really sweet. I was like, what are they hiding? When is the shoe going to drop? And I found out there's some mastermind. I was still too early, but Barbara was the first one. I was like, well, her and me.
So it's interesting because you shared your plan kind of with Drew, like, hey, what if you, me, Julie, and Carly came together? But
not quite. No,
you kind of floated something like that, but not that you just decided like now's not the time to follow up on it.
I did. It was pretty much set at Drew at that point. After I had said, all right, well, I found out you had an idol. I was like, what if we make a different plan? And then I don't know. He just kind of was like, what's the different plan? Right in front of Sharif. And I was like, oh man, he's spilling the beans on, because the vote had already been pretty much set on Drew. And he's asking me about what my idea for a different plan is right in front of Sharif. And I was like, how am I going to talk my way out of this? So there you go, Sharif. I was coming for you.
So let's say in your perfect world, you could vote out anyone in your tribe first. Who would have been your target?
Given that we need a little bit of strength, and it could have been anybody. It probably would have been. Wait, where'd you go?
I'm right
there.
here.
You are. Probably, Julie or Carly.
That would have been your ideal target.
It wouldn't have been my ideal target, but if I didn't want to keep going back to tribal council, then I suppose, they weren't really playing, and I wanted so much to, work with them, but I just couldn't really talk to them, and they weren't believing me or weren't understanding that there was this whole. They weren't seeing what I was seeing, so it just didn't really make sense. And I continued to try until, they left. But
let's say you found the Noga idol, right? What is your idol philosophy like? Do you keep it to yourself? Do you share it? Do you try to do something flashy with it?
Well, I don't share that information.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably every day keep pretending to look for it
Mm-hmm.
and build bonding experiences by,
Mm-hmm.
continuing to look for it,
Mm-hmm.
and then hypothesizing with whoever I was looking for it with
Mm-hmm.
that who I suspected had the idol, and that would depend on who I really wanted to go. Because a lot of times, a lot of the votes went kind of the way I wanted them to go,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not really good at the, uh, talking behind people's backs. Like when the conversation is happening between two people, person A wants something and person B wants something, and you don't know who's lying, and you're talking. If I could seed the idea in somebody before that conversation even happens, then then the vote tends to go where I want it to go. And I'm not saying I drove this whole game. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just saying that I made it very clear about people that I said that I didn't like. So they knew to come to me if that was going to be a vote or if I'd be amenable to it. And they already knew that I would be amenable to it. So they knew they had a number.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole time I was just, it's like a pattern of brutal honesty, being out there, hiding in plain sight again.
So Drew is the first one voted out day 3.
Yeah.
He goes home 6-1. You cast your vote for him. Barbara then inherits the vote, the vote necklace.
Okay.
And then you go to your next, what you think is a immunity challenge, but later becomes a reward challenge. This is when you're searching for the balls in the haystack, and you'll eventually do a vertical kind of table maze.
There was going to be an immunity challenge, and we lost it.
Mm-hmm. So that was probably amazing news to get.
Yeah. I'm not happy with the way, sorry, Reelfoot production. The other tribe got thrown a bone. They could have been out there forever, and we would have taken the immunity challenge and been fine. So displeased with the decision to throw a ball out there, but that's not the worst thing that's ever happened in my life. I don't want to sit around and like moan about it. That's fine. We what did we get? Did we they got some pizza? They got a Tombstone pizza, I believe. And
each person got like a slice of pizza.
So
and popsicles.
And we got to live another day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all we would have gotten anyway. So if they got a extra, half a quarter of a slice of pizza, then I still obtain the same results.
What about the idle hands challenge? How was that for you?
With the egg?
Yeah, where you have on the thing, you try to knock the other person's over.
Oh man, I was garbage at that. I don't know who was it. Was it Dina or Megs? It was a girl I never met. She looked tough. I went in, thought I was just gonna, crush this girl, and I never did it before. I knew you should throw it up in the air, but I didn't know when, and lost it. But it was rainy. It was miserable. I was not highly confident. I was actually too confident. I just thought I had it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm gonna, I'll balance this thing over here. I don't know. Not very pleased with my performance, I should say.
So after losing this challenge, I mean, the Drew Tribal Councils, it feels straightforward because there was so much time for that plan to get locked in motion. But this next one, I imagine there was more of a scramble going
on. Immunity challenge. Is this when Julia went?
Yes, this is the Julia vote off. So talk to me about the scramble and everything before Tribal Council.
I mean, it was pretty clear. Julia wasn't, she definitely wasn't in the majority alliance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they thought that I was still in the majority alliance or if there was even one. It was just maybe my delusions.
Mm-hmm.
But Julia was, she wasn't really meshing with the tribe. And I mean, it had to be somebody. I knew it wasn't going to be them. I know that the tribe needed to be relatively strong, so I felt like it wasn't going to be me.
Mm-hmm.
did I not vote for Julia? Is this when
No,
I
you
first?
don't. You vote for Megan as tribal council.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I threw a vote at Megan. Basically, again, I have a general philosophy of, just because you don't vote right all the time doesn't mean that it wasn't on purpose or strategic.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want Julia to go. I had some kind of, it was me, Julia, and Carly. I
Mm-hmm.
figured we could throw enough votes on some other person,
Mm-hmm.
and especially if there was a split or something like that, and maybe get somebody out and just start something,
Mm-hmm.
make a family of my own. So I wanted to show solidarity with Julia and not vote for her, and I'm glad I didn't, man. Well, I don't know if I'm glad I didn't, because Megan probably took that pretty hard. She always reminded me of it, and basically the whole season we kept, throwing shots over the bow at each other. So
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the Megan vote. So, was this vote? Were you trying to persuade Carly and Julia to also vote Megan, or is this simply
yes,
I don't?
yes, I was.
Okay.
Yes,
So, did you think they like? So, was this like trying? So, did you think there was a chance they vote with you for Megan?
I put enough time in with them and
Mm-hmm.
tried to explain to them
Mm-hmm.
at least the whole day, maybe the night before. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, this game is happening right around you. Do you not see them
Mm-hmm.
walking over here talking? And then it's not just who they talk to, it's who they talk to next. I'm like, look, then this person is going to share information with them. And you two are not in it. So I was like, let's do something ourselves.
So,
And yeah.
why not vote for Barbara?
Again, I told, one of my things was to try to at least take attention off myself, is
Mm-hmm.
to identify what I believed to
Mm-hmm.
be other people's games, and just be like, look, that's their game. They're doing it again right now. And I think that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, because I'm sure it got back to them. And I do apologize for that. It's just creating to them personally outside of the game. But in the game, that was just creating an adversary, a common enemy. But Barbara, I was like, look, she's playing the mom role. Look at her.
Mm-hmm.
She's, with all her stories, great stories, awesome stories. And I love sitting around listening to them. But as far as my game and making the other people not want to work with her, basically undermining interpersonal relationships before it's in my perceived best interest to do so.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, look, she's playing the mom card. It's totally obvious.
Mm-hmm.
So was that your question?
So, I guess if the goal was to try to get Carly and Julie to flip, wouldn't putting a vote on Barbara be better, because then you have a chance for the 4-4 tie, while like voting
because she had
she had the extra vote penalty. Yeah.
it may have come up, and this is, like
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks,
Yeah.
2 weeks away. I'm sure there was strategy there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. Maybe at this point, just creating a relative solidarity. I think they probably said the numbers weren't there, and at this point, once I kind of shown that I was talking with Julie and Carly, like, I don't know when it happened, but all of a sudden everybody started talking to him, like, day two, and I was like, well, now they're in their heads, so I didn't think this was going to go very well.
So you end up catching a vote at the tribal council.
Yeah, probably from Julia.
Yeah. So Julia cast her vote for you. What was your reaction to seeing that come out?
I knew it wouldn't be the last. I figured, yeah, I was actually kind of shocked. I was like, I was trying to be totally honest and, forthcoming and let her know what was coming down the line.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't want to hear it. I couldn't help that. I'm pretty sure that, the Sharif, Megan, Josh gang, in their conversations with Julia and Carly, found out that I was putting their names out there. So they just flipped the script, and they were like, Bash is, evil, or doing something. He's trying to trick you. So you should vote for him. And I don't know. I would love to hear that. So hopefully somebody tell me exactly what went on there, because again, I'm only going from, my perception of the game. But yeah, I was trying to help her. I don't know why I got to vote.
Did it worry you that, like, hey, I might be the decoy vote, and that means my position's more shaky than I thought it was?
Did I worry that I was the decoy vote?
Yeah, that like, okay, what happens if you lost again? Were you going to be in trouble?
I think it was pretty obvious that I had already made it known that I felt on the outs of, even if I was in the alliance, I was a peripheral member. I just saw so many conversations, good conversations. You watch their hand gestures, people are having like good spirited things. I wasn't really included a little bit, or at least I felt like that. And
because there's some fallout with you and Sharif after that second tribal council, isn't there?
Is there?
I remember seeing I remember seeing the live streams. You and Sharif have a conversation afterwards, where it's kind of like, why did the votes go the way they go? Like, why did you vote for Megan, and etc. I thought there was something like that.
I know Megan was not happy. I mean, it was pretty obvious Megan and Sharif were, pretty much 1 and 2. They were both wearing black, by the way. So my intuition was a little bit right. Probably they thought they had me in tow. And, because you still have to have a majority number. And I was, it's pretty good, relatively reliable, kind of dumb. So, let's just keep him around for a bit. So I didn't vote in the direction that I was, I guess, told to vote. Or, what the hell was that all about? But I don't remember. I didn't care too much, really.
So, did anything you want to talk about the next community challenge? The ends up being the ball maze that your tribe wins.
The ball maze.
This is where you have like take the balls, move it through the chicken coop, move it through the pipes into the bucket, and on the ball maze to navigate.
Yeah, this was a really, really awesome challenge. We had to take a ball, roll it up a chicken wire fence, put it on through the fence. I'm sure everybody's already explained it. You probably don't want to hear it again, or would you like to hear it again?
What did you do during this challenge?
I took my fat little fingers and put them in the chicken wire and rolled it up, and then sent it down the PVC tubes.
Pretty efficiently, then.
What's that?
Pretty efficiently, then.
I think it was pretty efficiently.
Your tribe won, so you did it well.
We did. Hats off to Josh. He identified a strategy where we could collect the ball by rocking it, controlling it, lowering the level, and then dumping it, baby setting it into the can. So he was very valuable in that challenge. So for all the, fun things that I end up saying about Josh probably in all this, I made him my nemesis because I always have to have one. And so Josh was it for a good long time. It was fun to have him around, but I respect him as a player. He's a great orator. Another reason I felt like he had to go. But I mean, we'll get there.
So you win this challenge. Kawano goes to their first tribal council. They proceed to vote out Megs. And then some fun stuff happens that night. So I guess Josh is taken away from camp at some point.
Yes.
And they don't tell you why, right?
No. So I figured it wasn't really, it was too coincidental that Josh also had the medallion. And there was a lot of speculating that went on. I figured, I thought that the two medallions were going to meet somewhere and some result was going to happen. I didn't expect it to be a tribe switch. But I figured that they would get some kind of, reward or immunity, and they'd have to come back and make up a story, or that this would be a recurring thing, throughout the season. But I guess it was just the one. They had a summit and had to choose new tribes.
So you end up on Kawanu 2.0, right? Uh, how was this tribe swap for you? Was it a good tribe swap?
Yes. Yes. You mean me going to yellow?
Yes, you go in the yellow. You, Carly, and Megan go in the yellow and joining Angela, Lauren, Ryan, and Storm.
Yeah. I felt I was making enough waves over at Ugandu. I don't.
You know,
What was the blue tribe's name again? Unoga. Yeah. Sorry. Uh,
you're that much over blue. You're like, take me to the yellow.
yeah. No. Seriously. I felt I, wasn't getting listened to. I couldn't really make any headway there. But things weren't going the way I wanted, and so, and I think I made that abundantly clear. So I feel like my time was probably limited. Tribe swap. I found it interesting when I got to the other tribe. I extrapolated that. I was like, huh, it's me and Megan. That's odd. But, Sharif and Barbara are still over there. And then I identified that Yellow was very happy with their results. So it felt kind of like a schoolyard pick a little bit. And then Angela later confirmed, but I didn't necessarily believe her. She's like, Josh handed you up on a silver platter. So I kind of took her word for it. I mean, it was plausible. I was like, he did not want me because I felt like I was calling his game out as a conduit between, Sharif and Barbara. Yeah, no, I went over there and I was like, all right. The tribe split was because at this point, I believe there was 8 yellow.
Yeah, 8 yellow, 6 blue.
6 blue. So I don't know if I would have negotiated that because
I don't think you had a choice.
Yeah, it puts blue at the minority in both tribes. All right. So I go over there. I'm like, all right, great. It's going to be one of us. I better be damn useful, like right now, and turn on the charm. I went in and just started being friendly. And on our way back, I started talking with Lauren. She looked like a soccer player. She said she played soccer. I played soccer too. I bonded with her on the walk up. Then everybody had to leave and go back because there was an upcoming challenge and we had to go look at our materials. So they left me there with Storm and Bash. And I was like, man, we could rent our names out for intimidation purposes. So I got to bond with him. I figured he was like the beef of the tribe. So I was like, I like to smash stuff too. Maybe we can go out and hunt some wood together. I have this special wood that is really awesome, that is really good in that you can burn even when it's wet. And he was like, oh, interesting. But I didn't show him which one until I made sure I, lived through the next immunity challenge. So I thought that was maybe valuable. Just hung out at camp with them all night, and it was me, Megan, and Carly. Yes.
Yep.
I just started moving, just started having conversations, being friendly, and stayed up as late as I could. Shot the shit, and I think I won him over. I know.
So, were you like throwing out Megan and Carly's name? Were you like making it very clear, like, goes dead to me? What were you doing to kind of help save yourself in this minority swap situation?
Man, I was in the minority, and I really didn't feel good with the other tribe. And I had to. There were 2 other options for them, for the original, 4 yellow to pick from. And it was either me spill all the beans or one of these other 2 was going to be more valuable for information. So I had to come way over the top and be like, thank God I'm here. This, that, F those guys, we're going to make a new thing, go back and destroy them. And I think they appreciated my sincerity. So I was very convincing. I believe I was convincing.
Were you did you talk much to Carly and Megan during the swap?
I did. I think we all generally felt like it was going to be one of us. After hearing Angela's thing, and I'm trying not to put that into my thought process. But Angela and Megan, it sounds like they had a little something on the side, which I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
I was fully aware that that I had been hearing that there was like that maybe a girl could win this one,
Mm-hmm.
and so there was, wherever there's smoke is fire, and
Mm-hmm.
so I felt that building a little bit. So it was kind of that really didn't come into play. Basically, it was like me and Megan at this point are basically indispensable, exchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
So Carly could be a relatively easy vote. Didn't appear to be too strategic, although to her credit, she was starting to have deeper conversations with people. So my conversations with them were basically like, yeah, it's one of us. So so I might vote for you, I might vote for Carly, but it's just to save our own skins.
Mm-hmm.
But all the meanwhile, I was just doing my best to fit in with the yellow and make them love me.
So day 4, you open up with immunity challenge. This is the fishing for immunity, and you end up being one of the word puzzle solvers. Is that correct?
Oh, is this with the raft? This is with the raft. Yeah.
Yeah, this is with the raft. Your tribe actually makes a real raft, unlike the other tribe.
Yeah, Ryan kicked butt on his raft. It was a last minute change that I ended up going out to paddle. I wish I didn't, because he had built this raft to hold 2 very light ladies.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I got a couple pounds on them, but so I was thinking the back half of the raft. But we improvised. Had he known it was going to be me, then I think that he would have made the pontoons much larger.
Mm-hmm.
It was me and Megan out on the raft. We all had to like swim out and catch fish, and we're all like puzzle piece names. And we got back there first. We had plenty of time, and I was me and Megan were puzzle solvers. And we dumped all the fish on the table, and I was like, all right, we have to make 3 words out of this. And I was like, VY, victory. Throw the victory down.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I'm like, oh, this is easy. A victory seat, and they're like, no, that's not it. And Megan, I wish I would have stood up for myself a little bit, but she's like, all right, it's not victory. Let's jumble it all around. And then tried 5 minutes of other stupid
It was so
stuff.
painful to watch that happen.
And I was like, it was like I made 3 different incarnations of like words that could, go together. I'm like, taste, victory. But I knew it was victory. I've mixed up enough words in my head. When you see a V and Y, it's either, very or victory.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted a little bit more to look at it and just be like, all right, well, let's take the remaining letters, because we're in a challenge. It has to be, applicable, and relevant. So victory makes sense. If we do this, we win. Victory. And
it's just 2 letters. That's all you're
before
off
I knew
by.
it, the letters were all mixed up, and I was like, all right, well, I can't be the boss of this loss.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to lose, then let's entertain some thoughts, because, who knows, maybe I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, I'm like, let's get back to victory. So I finally, after exhausting all the options, we're back to victory. And by that point, they put it together.
Mm-hmm.
Very painful.
So getting
Very.
back to,
Very.
I mean, because I remember watching, it's like, oh wow, they're so close. Then victory was scrambled again, and I was like, oh no, and I never saw that. And I think of that, I never saw victory appear ever again. I was like, oh, this is so tragic.
No, yeah. Still bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
Not really, but I mean, now that you bring it up, yeah, it still bothers me, because that could have. Was that an immunity challenge?
That was immunity.
Yep. So what day are we on?
You're on day 4. So this is final 14, day 4. You just lost. You're going back to camp. It's you, Megan, and Carly in the minority.
Oh yeah, Carly goes
Lord,
home.
Ryan, and Storm in the majority. What are they telling you? What are you thinking as you scramble before vote?
Oh, yeah. I remember at this point, regardless of, so taking myself out of the game and understanding these four,
Mm-hmm.
Angela, Storm, Ryan, and Lauren. Um, there's me coming in. Um, whatever, they may have had their own ideas, or they could have been leading me on or whatever, but I believed in my heart of hearts and my true reality that I was making more headway in with the group at large, regardless if Angela made something with Megan or
Mm-hmm.
whoever did their little side projects.
Mm-hmm.
The group as a whole, I believed, felt me to be more valuable.
Mm-hmm.
um, so I was in on those conversations, being like, who is it going to be? And
Mm-hmm.
it could have been a smoke and mirrors thing, being like, let's just make Bash feel comfortable. You don't know these things.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt included in the conversations, and I didn't want Megan to go at this point. I can't
Why?
remember. I can't remember why. I thought that later that I could bring that back to her and be like, I saved your butt. I saved your butt. They wanted to get you because they know you're dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, but she over on the other tribe, she was looking for idols all the time, so she could have one.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like I put the doubt in their minds, being like, we can't just all throw our votes on Megan because Bash kind of thinks that she has an idol.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. That's what I thought. So I was like, Carly would be the. I might have voted for Megan anyway. In fact, I probably did, just to, if everybody. I don't know. You tell me what I did.
You voted for Carly, and I guess my question is because, like, from when I was talking to Angela, it sounded like the majority alliance hadn't told you who the intended target was. Was that the case? Like, did you know it was Carly going out?
I felt like, maybe. I mean, maybe they didn't. At this point, I was probably still like, I bet you win, guys. I'm a loyal soldier. I will, do what you say.
Mm-hmm.
They were definitely the four in charge, so I can totally see, me staying out of that particular. I hadn't earned their trust. I pledged it,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't feel like I earned it.
Because Angela was really surprised that you voted for Carly, because like it sounded like they didn't tell you that was the actual plan, but you ended up voting for Carly anyways.
I mean, every player has their own reality in this game. What they thought they saw and heard, and I watched Angela's thing, and a lot of it didn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
She says some things that I didn't do, but I mean, I'm trying to get it right. No, I voted for Carly because she made sense, because Megan very well may have had an idol.
Mm-hmm.
And at least if I was going to be with these guys, then I thought, the safer vote would be Carly at this point. And I could always use that and go back to Megan and be like, they were going to vote for you. But apparently that wasn't the case at all.
That's my favorite rumor of the entire season. It's just everyone thinking Megan has the idol for this massive period of time before everyone's like, oh, I guess.
And no one has it.
No one ever finds it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a bummer. I didn't find any idols or any clues, and I was out in the woods all the time.
So Carly goes out. She marks Angela. At this point, do you feel like if you go to tribal council again, are you in trouble, or do you think they're going to keep you, get rid of Megan?
I thought I was in enough to. I felt that was. I knew it. I knew it in my gut that it would be Megan.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it would, and I didn't get the sense that anybody was coming for me. I had really good relationships with Storm.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan and I were talking a lot. Not so much with Angela and Lauren, as far as like I talked with Angela a lot, and what was really cool about that dynamic of people was we were so on point that I could talk to Storm about what he just talked to Angela about, and and we could convey information third party, and it felt genuine. Like if somebody is lying to you, they'll position themselves in a different way, or they won't look you in the eye, or they'll, have a tell, or they'll, if they're trying to imagine something, they'll usually look up, into their brain, to the left, like they're trying to create a story. If they're trying to recall a fact, they'll look up to the other side. Just trying to observe these things. I felt that they were being really honest with me.
So, of those four, of Angela, Lauren, Ryan, and Storm, who do you think had the best? Like, if you had to rank your relationships with them, what would you rank it as?
All of them were interchangeable.
Okay.
At this point, I knew that there was a group of four, and Megan was like, "Why would you get mixed up in a group of four? You're obviously the fifth wheel." And I was like, "That's exactly where I want to be, because if I can run to the end with." Yeah, basically it appeared to me to be two groups of twos, Angela and Lauren, Storm and Ryan. And if I can get all the way to the end with this group of people, then I'm the swing vote in a 2-2. And then that puts me in, a 4. Then I can navigate my way from there. So that was my end game strategy.
So you next do Pete's Palooza as a mini challenge. How'd you enjoy this challenge?
Oh, that is the
running challenge.
Oh,
running
man.
with trivia, then basketball.
Yeah. The everybody tried to opt out of the running. I'm like, I'm not a runner, Lauren, thank God, she was like, I'll do number 6. I was like, you're doing number 6. Megan, fit as can be. I was like, she obviously should do 5. And she was all like, I'm not. Yeah, I was like, fine, screw it. I'll do 5. Yeah, that's a lot of running. It was, and then I had to run against Sharif, and we were way behind at this point. I caught up to him a little bit, then I just lost my wind. I finally got to the end. I fell down. All the boys in this challenge, by the way, at some point or another collapsed onto the ground. Girls stood tough. That was pretty awesome. Get back. We have 2 basketballs in the net, and the story. It ends up with Ryan at the end, just throwing and throwing and throwing and missing and missing. And I'm like, throw it overhand, try granny, and I knew this wasn't helping him. So the best I could do was like open his water and just hold it there for him. So when he came back around, he could just take a slug of water and continue shooting. It was him versus Josh. And I was ready to go to tribal council again because I'd already been to a bunch of them by this point. So, what's one more? Live another day.
So your tribe wins immunity and you're safe. Now at this point, because Dina's going to be voted out, or are you like feeling there's a merge coming up? Are you like waiting for the merge, or are you thinking like, no, they're going to drag this out longer for us?
Is this at 11 people?
So you're now down to 12. Dina's been voted out.
12. Okay. Sometimes when I try to recount the numbers in my head, the damn medallion, I always tried to count it as an extra person. So, yeah, 11, 12. So Dina, didn't really get to know her. I knew somebody was going out. I know there was some speculation on who it was. And to be honest, it wasn't me. I didn't care. I didn't care if it was any blue. I didn't care if it was any of Yellow's old friends. I knew it wasn't me. So I probably thought about other stuff. I wish I had more for you on that one.
Did you know
we can do,
Did you know that there were mutiny advantages that were hidden at this point and found by players?
Didn't.
Okay. So you get tree mail. The tree mail says, hey, another challenge.
Yes.
And you show up the challenge site, then a lot of things happen. Talk me through it.
Which challenge?
So this is the swap challenge. We're going to swap and do the weights above your head.
Yeah.
Dropping your hand. So talk me through, because you get to this challenge and stuff goes down.
We all get on the mats and we're ready to, and we see the weights and everything, and kind of some people kind of guessed what it was from the clue. We show up and we're like, all right, yeah, we can do this. Then I forget exactly how the swap went, as far as like Amos came up and said, drop your buffs, or
he's like, drop your buffs, then we are swapping, and then it's by random draw.
Right. Okay. So what I really do remember from that is we ended up with not Storm, but we got Josh. Josh was going to be on my tribe, and I was like, oh, how delightful, because now I've felt like I made this little wolf pack, and now we can, devour Josh on our terms. But then he pops out this thing and is like so proud of it too. It was amazing. He was like, this paper says that I am entitled to mutiny at any time, and I am going to go over here. So see ya. And he took off, and I was like, yep, I knew it. Josh is, totally loyal to Blue. This is, no way to work with him. So that happened. There was a little bit of a wild time with Keenan was able to mutiny back to us. And so Storm, before he went over there, him and Ryan switched, obviously past a fake immunity idol. I don't think that I knew that it was fake, at the time. I knew that he had made one, but I don't know what he passed him. I didn't know. I found out later, because he was very proud of his little skull that he found in the woods. He actually made another one, because I came into the game wearing lots of jewelry. That was further to solidify my image as a, flake. But it was also, I lost those pretty much the first day because I wanted to have materials to make hidden immunity idols. So not wearing them now. So we ended up making another one back at camp a little bit later, but that never got used.
So looking at your new swap drive, right?
Yes.
How nervous are you feeling? Because you're looking at it, it's like, okay, I'm the only person from Original Inoga here, and then we have Angela, James, Keenan, Ryan, and Lauren. So I
wasn't even worried about that. I was like, how did Megan get out of here? I was like, I knew we should have, probably gotten rid of her. She was like, I thought I was a cat with 9 lives. She skated through, she hustled her way through. So hats off to you, Megan. I was like, well, what are you going to do? If I'm going to go out, and there's nothing I can do about it. This is, this is the game I played, and sometimes you get dealt a, bad hand. So I was like, all right, well, hopefully I've put in enough work in the past little bit to, show that I'm more valuable. And basically I just played up my valuability. And when they all came up to me they were like, yeah, we're going to keep you over James. I was like, thank you. For me, obviously it made sense. I did play up the Megan thing a little bit. I'm like, somebody's got to beat Megan in challenges. You need to keep me. So everybody told him he was going home, and you've heard the story. Like, how many times do you want to hear the story? But him and I talked that night, even though he knew that he was going home. It was very awkward for me. I'm like, yeah, they're keeping me over you, but this doesn't mean we can't be friends, so let's get to know each other. So we really bonded. I suggested, I believe it was me that suggested, I was like, let's call a tribal council now. We get on the walkie-talkie, try to do that, and they're like, we can't do it. And I was like, I took it a step further. I was like, no, that is BS. I was like, if he wants to go right now, then we can make him go. And naturally, I wanted to get him out of the game before he had a change of mind or somebody has a bright idea. I was like, what's stopping us from all walking down as a pack together right to Center Lodge, and we can grab somebody's cell phone and shoot our own, tribal council right there. I'm like, it'll be great production value. Let's do it. But I couldn't be so over the top to be like, well, Bash really wants to get rid of him. Maybe we should
Yeah.
reconsider.
I've
So
been wild if you pulled it off. I will say.
what?
I would have been wild if you pulled it off.
Thought it would be fun. So we spend the night, and it's really crappy weather. And James was so ready. He's like, I'm gonna go get a shrimp po' boy. He was like, he could taste it. He was just ready for it. He was like, all right, tribal council's coming up. And then we found out that he couldn't go. He had to bring his whole mind back into surviving one more night.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was crappy weather. It was cold. It was raining. And then he wakes up with a spider bite on his eye. And his eye is just like huge. And man, that guy was amazing. He just took it with the kindest heart and warmest spirit. And he made it as far as he felt that he farther than he wanted to go, and was happy to pass the torch to me. And I let him know that I would bleed yellow, and make this tribe proud. Half of that was true, but
So James gets voted out the next day in a unanimous vote.
yeah.
How confident were you that if you lost another challenge, your alliance would keep you?
Well, it did it once.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, well, let's not lose anymore because what are the chances that's going to happen again?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Keenan did just mutiny
Mm-hmm.
over here, and everybody was talking so highly of Keenan. Be like, you should hear his impressions, and his wild stories, and he's fun to be around. And
I want to believe there's some alternate universe where you and Keenan start in the same tribe and just can cause chaos.
No, because generally I try to be. I feel like there's too much crossover of like we're not the same person. We don't act the same, and we don't fill the same role. But he's a wild card. He's out there, but also people think that I'm out there too. So we can't be interchangeable. So if somebody's trying to has a role that I'm trying to be in, then he would be the first to go. I have to be that person, not them. So Keenan, yeah, I would have voted for you under different circumstances, but Gorillas still rock it.
So you go to your next immunity challenge, and this is the Blindfold challenge. What's your role in this challenge?
Yeah, we just got destroyed in that. I don't even feel like I did anything. Ryan was the caller, and I don't know where he sent me. I know he was paying attention to some other people, but he was like, just keep walking. And it's pretty much all I did. I think I got one piece, maybe two pieces, and imminent death by lake a couple times. He took on the role, and it was a difficult role to try. Like if you've never done that, to try to direct this many people, I wanted to know how many steps I had to take, and then write, or 30 degrees, and just some more. We could have all strategized better on the level of directions, but we did not strategize correctly. He was going out there and just taking people by name, but that wasn't the most efficient way to do it. And it's okay, Ryan, man. It's I'm glad I didn't do it, because that could have been bad for me.
So you lose this challenge.
We lost it.
And I guess, to my understanding, very quickly, there is a public decision made that Keenan's the one going home.
Yeah. They came up to me again, and they're like, we're going to keep you over Keenan.
And what's going through your head when you hear that?
Awesome. How can this be? I was like, but I know I was putting in the work. I just didn't. Sometimes you do a lot of work and it doesn't pay off. In fact, that happens so often just in regular everyday life. You get kind of used to it. So when it actually works, you're just like, you're like, yeah, it's payday. But they were saying this to me. And, I really had no At this point, I felt like I was part of the gang.
Mm-hmm.
They had their own alliance name, but I kept calling them my wolf pack. Basically because we all slept around the fire, and
Mm-hmm.
over at the blue camp we were the sardines. So I mean, they were decision makers at that point, and basically I knew a merge had to be coming at some point. So again, I reiterated that somebody's we need some challenge threats out there, at least somebody who's super loyal to this group, that that will go in there, and I've already told you everything. You need an ally when we merge against all those evil blue people that I had built them up to be for so long. Sorry, blue guys.
Well, so after Keenan's voted out, you made it. It's the merge, and so you have probably the best merge feast I've ever seen in a reality game ever. It's the most legit possible. You have Applebee's. So talk to me about the merge feast, reuniting with the Enoga members, and just what's going through your head at this time.
I just had to backtrack onto one of my favorite moments was after we went to immunity, after James and Keenan was coming up over the hill, seeing the other tribe, and they're like, how the hell is he still here? It was, and I was just waiting for the looks on their faces to be like, I thought that was going to be something I would get to talk about a little more at the end, but I didn't. I don't know. Coffee's for closers. There's no coffee for me today. But the merge feast.
The story reiterates that their entire tribe was impressed with you coming back after 2 tribal councils.
I thought I had told the yellow tribe, I was like, I'm gonna stick with you guys. I'm just gonna be awesome and stuff like that. Really, Josh was kind of the conduit between Sharif and Barbara, and I knew that he was my number one target that I wanted to get out. Sharif, I thought that maybe, since I was original blue, I could have been like, I had to say what I had to say, and I could have gone back and made some new deals, but we ended up with a 5-5 thing. Are we talking about Applebee's or
whatever you want? This is the merge.
I mean, Applebee's was great. We ate. So we'll move to Applebee's because my battle with Josh at the 5v5, it was pretty much I got a lot of votes, Josh got a lot of votes, he got one more. But Applebee's, fantastic. Like Angela said, we were talking about cheeseburgers, but to be honest, we were talking about every single kind of food. Burritos, pancakes, tacos, just come on, it, Miracle Whip.
Oh gosh.
I've tried to get sponsored by Miracle Whip. So Miracle Whip, if you're listening, call me. It was awesome. I knew that there would be probably some kind of clue or reward here. Didn't even see that Storm had it. When I found my seat, I went to the far back corner and sat up on like a bucket so I could have like a catbird seat and watch everybody. I thought I watched everybody open their napkins, especially Josh. He had turned over to the side, I guess, after eating too much food. Looked like he was going in his bag, and I don't know if he had anything, but I let him know that I was watching. I even went to go lay down in the grass so I could see him from the other side to see what he was messing with, and see if he was going to put anything in his bag, or maybe that's when Storm found the advantage or clue or whatever he found
in his napkin.
Yeah, it felt like the right place, but you'll notice if you watch, I forget my water bottle a lot, which is pretty convenient. It's not the first time this strategy has been employed, but it's a good reason to have to go back and be left at camp alone. So I did forget some things at the Applebee's challenge and did have to go back and get my, I don't know what it was, my buff or something. So I looked under the table and everything like that, and I didn't find anything.
So do you just want to go straight to the you versus Josh Tribal Council?
Yeah.
So a lot of advantages come out in this tribal council. Were you aware that your tribe had your alliance had not one but two different idols?
I knew that Ryan had a real idol, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
because they shared information with me. It's actually because Keenan made a very small comment. Ryan, tell me you didn't sweat your pants when you heard this, uh, because I didn't let Keenan and James like go before getting everything I could about their experience over on the other tribe. But Keenan had seen that I was like part of the tribe. They're like, Bash is totally with us. He's like, all right, well then, so with your idol, and Ryan was just like, no, right. And then Ryan changed it to some other subject, and I didn't bring it up because I didn't want Ryan to know that I was that observant, or
Mm-hmm.
or that I even cared. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, all right, Ryan's got an idol. So I was aware of that. On the other tribe, I didn't know. I figured some people had some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I did think that this was the time that it was going to get played. I'd been seeding Josh for a long time, and Yellow knew that they had to trust in me because they knew that KC was
Yep.
over there, and
You and
probably
Casey are kind of like opposites in that
a
regard.
little bit, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And it's when I heard how Yellow was talking about KC, I was like, F that guy. I don't like him either. And I knew I didn't like him from day one. I like him just fine. He's, but I was like, I can just tell. I could just tell by looking at him. And,
Mm-hmm.
so I said, if anybody sees that behavior in the game, where I say I don't like you, it's not that I don't like you. It's me creating an adversarial position to uh, broadcast that I'm a number in case you want to pick that person. So I just let them know that I was behind them all the way in case he was a traitor and he's out of here. So, so we had 5 and we knew that they had 5. So we all had to stick together and just suicide on one person. The idea was, and I do want to take some credit for the Josh vote. Shreve was like, "Are you trying to take credit for the Josh vote?" And I was like, "A little, but not, because you can't take credit for anybody's full vote." But what I did do is let people know that yes, Josh may have the idol, but he is a long game player. He's not going to go into the merge and just bust that idol right out. If he wants to go deep, he's going to insulate himself at least during the first vote and try to like hold on to it until final 5-6 when he really gets in trouble. There were too many. So I was like, if he has it, he won't use it today because he's greedy. So that was my pitch. Everybody, I'm sure, had other pitches. Obviously couldn't be KC because he won immunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was a do or die moment. It was going to basically dictate the next couple votes of the game. And I know this game likes to favor when people hop and switch and jump around, but you cannot deny when you win. When it was obvious 5-5.
Mm-hmm.
When you get up in the numbers, you got to start picking a couple people off just to to protect yourself a little bit, ride the advantage. So we went out and Josh went home.
Did you have any conversations with what you did you talk much to Barbara, Josh, Sharif at the initial merge, or you're just like this bridge is broken?
I mean, yeah, because at this point, once I generally once I put myself on one side of the create an adversarial position, and I know apparently that's obviously I didn't get any votes. That's the wrong way to go. You need to make everybody feel loved and then knife them. I mean, I was pretty upfront that like we are on opposite sides of this table, and we are going to combat like combatants, and whoever the best man is, whoever's the best wins.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to do all that duplicity, so there wasn't much reason to talk with them. I knew, I felt very solid in our alliance, and we knew that for us to all make it further in the game, we were going to have to take out what appeared to be a very, strong majority alliance, which made us even more galvanized to stick together. So it was pretty much us versus them.
Mm-hmm. So, what was I going to say? Had you been hearing the term Holy Trinity being tossed around for those three players, Josh, Barbara, Sharif, or?
Oh yeah. Thank you. So you're going to need to spark my memory a lot for this, but I am also drinking gin and water and eating Miracle Whip by the spoonful. Would you like to see it?
I think I'm okay.
How about with scissors? Yeah, no, Barbara came back super salty at me. She's like, I heard what you said about us over there. So I guess when Megan, on swap 2, when Megan went back, she probably went back, and to get back in, I don't think she was ever in bad graces with, she went back and spilled all the beans and was like, Bash is telling him everything.
Oh, Storm also said he did a lot of that.
He did, and yeah, I read him really wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, what a, nice, gentle giant. I knew he would probably have to go over there and say things that, he didn't mean, but I didn't really expect him to be, I don't think it was necessary for him to make up all this stuff about me.
Yeah. So Barbara confirms Storm is the one who told her that you came up with Holy Trinity.
Barbara, thank you for watching. I'm glad that this is worth. I might be a little long-winded. I'm sorry, but I'm glad you're staying tuned for something. But Barbara, you were awesome, except for when you got salty at me and you were like, I know what you said about me. And I just felt like you didn't forgive me, because I was like, I really didn't say that. It doesn't even make sense. Like, there's the Holy Trinity, but the trilogy is like, I don't know. It's just, I know that it's nothing I would say, but this is a game where people lie to each other all the time. So why would you believe me? It's
hard in the game, right? And then, like, once you get out of the game, then you're like, yeah, things make sense now. But when you're in the game, you're not sleeping, you're not eating, you don't trust anyone. It's hard. And post game, like, oh wow, I should have listened. Oh wow, I should have believed you. And you can just kind of laugh, thankfully.
But I was really, because I heard people have been like, I heard you put my name out there, and I was like, I never said that, Or sometimes I would, say that even though I had.
Mm-hmm.
But this time I just was like really genuinely taken aback. I was like, who? Mm-hmm. So it's nice to get some closure on that, and that she just wasn't making it up. So thank you, Barbara. Don't be mad at me anymore.
So is there anything you want to talk about with the KC vote?
KC was relatively inevitable. It was an opportunity. We know there was Idlegeddon. Mm-hmm. We knew if Josh was, at least in my mind, if Josh was holding an idol, it was gone. I was trying to keep my eyes on people that if there was any more idol searching, but it's so hard because, man, people really pooped a lot for not eating much food. Mm-hmm. It seemed inevitable. I don't think anybody can really take credit for that one specifically, except that, it was all in everybody's best interest, because KC, had won 2 immunity challenges. Right?
Mm-hmm. I think Casey had won the first immunity challenge, and then he lost
the first.
Just the first, yeah. Because Storm and Lauren won the second one, the paddle, the really heavy paddle and ball.
So I won more immunity challenges than Casey.
Yes, you did. I think the only person, Casey won 1, Lauren won 2. Yes, I think you and Lauren tied for challenges for the season.
That's painful. We'll get to
So you next get to do a reward challenge that you win, and you get to go on a trip.
That is
This is where we have the 4 people on the ropes to stack the blocks up, and it's kind of a balancing challenge.
Oh yeah.
And so you went along with Megan, Angela, and Ryan.
Yeah, I've always adored this game, watching it in Survivor, and hats off to Ryan, Angela, and Megan. The communication was amazing. we just, I don't know, we clicked. We didn't drop once. I believe we did it the fastest it's ever been done.
Mm-hmm.
And besides, food was on the line, so so nothing was dropping.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if somebody was pulling too tight, somebody was like, "Hey, it's not tug of war. Let's relax it a little bit." And people are like, "Straighten out." And amazing communication. We got to go to the Earthquake Museum, or this, I don't know, this amusement park out in the middle of Western Tennessee. The earthquake machine was not the best. Like, it didn't feel like a real earthquake. I think so. I think it was to scale, but it didn't matter. I just had a blast.
Mm-hmm.
Production was there. We got to go to Union City, and I got a toasty sub and a beer. And in case anybody wants to know, I didn't get drunk because I can handle my booze. I had a 20-ounce wit beer, and it was in a frosty mug. And I will hand it to everybody else because we're all sitting there. They're like, "No, I mustn't. I'm saving it for after the game." I was like, "No, screw this. I'm getting a beer now." And like, do you drink beer or no?
I don't really drink much.
No. Okay. Well, there's a phenomenon that happens when you're shooting pool, and you have 2 beers. Your geometry gets really amazing. 3 beers, maybe not so much, but
I hear there's something similar in programming, that there's a certain like peak you hit.
yeah,
And it all goes downhill after. But
I mean, it's just a law of diminishing returns.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we got to eat. I got a toasty sub. I think 3 of us got the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't look for any idols. I was very happy that it was Angela and Ryan and Megan. Still, the whole game with Megan and I, it was always like we threw votes at each other, but we always kept lying to each other, like,
yeah,
"I want to work with you."
I forgot to ask, at the KC vote, you throw your vote at Megan.
Well, it's become a thing at this point.
And is this because KC's writing your name down, or?
No. It's because, again, when I don't trust these unanimous votes.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it enough times where, if somebody's going to do some star move,
mm-hmm.
They're going to, then the one person that they vote for goes home.
Mm-hmm.
So
even if KC votes for Ryan, right, you're still writing Megan's name down because you're not letting it be unanimous votes.
Yeah. I don't like those. I don't trust them. Anything could happen. And what if that one vote's me?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a buffer. It's just a self-preservation thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know some people were like, Bash just throws his vote wherever. It's not, that there's no thought into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a high, what's the word? A lot of people value perfect games.
Mm-hmm.
There's no perfect game. There's so much luck, into it, and everybody has their different strategy. There's some terminology in the in the implied rules that I don't really subscribe to, and I don't really play by the book in the first place. So a lot of people didn't understand my game. I don't know if this is making it clearer for anybody, but this is my first live reality game, and I even hesitate to talk to you because now, like, if I show up again somewhere, people are going to be like, Bash is going to do A, B, C, D. But that's all right because I have a whole backup persona that I can. I'm ready to crush it. Chapter 2.
Well, this is about I think the people who'll be watching these will be your casts, the Reelfoot production, the other people who are super passionate about Reelfoot. I don't know if I would love to say that everyone in the community will watch it. That would make me feel happy, but I don't know.
At least if those guys watch a little bit. I mean, I've watched everybody's. I didn't get to James's yet. Mm-hmm. I figured I had to, I'll get there. Mm-hmm. But I would love to see it because it's it brings all of our experience into a more complete picture. I mean, mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I was completely in the dark, or I actually had it right, or. Mm-hmm. Who had any idea that this person was capable of this thing?
So, you get back from this reward challenge. I guess the last question about that, did you have any strategy talk with Angela or Ryan or Megan at that?
Which vote and when?
This is the reward challenge of the final 8.
The KC vote?
No, this is the vote. When you're on your reward with Angela, Ryan, and yeah. Did you have any strategy talk at all?
Yeah. How many people are left?
8.
8. Okay, so with Medallion 9.
This is before Barbara goes home, but she goes home the next morning.
Before Barbara? Well, I don't know exactly when it starts to happen that Angela and Lauren start approaching me, being like, Storm and Ryan are making some kind of big moves, that whole idol swap and the, the whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
And so I, brought that back to Ryan and Storm a little bit and be like, wow, there's probably like a girls thing, maybe, I don't know. So I'm setting the seeds for basically splitting those two groups apart later.
Mm-hmm.
But right now I was just like, we all have to stick together.
Mm-hmm. And so you get back from this reward and you go immediately into a media challenge.
Yes.
And this is probably a media challenge you like.
The memory challenge?
Yes.
No, I don't. I have to go to a place in my brain that I don't like to go to be able to recall information. And it's especially with not that much food. I had a pretty decent amount of sleep, and I was eating worms, as you know, but that's not that much calories. I wanted to eat the ants, but they were too fast and they looked like they were bitey. Yeah, we had to look at like 8 boxes and it just had random things in it. But if you looked at them correctly, you could identify patterns. Like the balls, if you knew where the numbers of the boxes were, if you knew there was a ball on every box on the left, or there were sticks only in the diagonals of each box. I counted up the marbles, try to take the mental pictures the best I could. And besides the pool beer theory, I just had a big beer and a big amount of food. So I knew there were only 4 people in that probably had the mental acuity to excel at that challenge. Do you know what the placings were? Were the top 4 the people who were just eaten?
I don't remember the placings.
Yeah. But they didn't give the winner till tribal council, so that obviously didn't affect anything.
Did you feel like this is a 1 in 4 chance of me winning, or did you feel that your chances of winning were?
I felt it was like a 1 in 4. I knew that I could only identify patterns to the best of my ability. I knew that before we left for that challenge, I was walking up the path with Lauren and Storm, and Storm was really dragging and Lauren was just looking like death on wheels. Just, she hadn't eaten, and I was like, man, we're both looking bad. And I thought for a minute that I was going to trade out that challenge, but I was like, no, I'm selfish and I want to go eat. And I know there's beer there. So I want a beer.
So as we wrap up the end of day 6, Barbara's going to be voted out tomorrow morning. Are you starting to think about endgame at that moment?
At the end of day 6, when was the arm thing?
That's going to be final 7 the next day. So after the Barbara.
Okay. Vote. End of day 6, Barb's going home.
And end of day 6, that's and
then Barb gets voted out in the morning.
The next morning, yes.
Yeah. So Josh had gone, and Barb was just. Everyone was walking around talking, and Barb was just kind of checking out mentally. Don't really know why. Maybe because she lost her, her key player in the game. If you sat around camp, she would, regale you with stories, but she wasn't out there hustling. And I mean, this game at this point, like everyone's really dragging. But this is the second food reward I had, so I'm pacing around, smashing wood, and I wasn't feeling it like some of the other people. And you could tell. I mean, before Josh went out, he was in the tent most of the day and evening. And that could have been because he just ate a whole bunch of Applebee's. But but Barb really wasn't moving and shaking like like she usually is. Her stories seemed to go somewhere that you know leads you to some, I don't know, some conclusion, but I don't know. She just seemed down.
Well,
So it seemed like an easy pickings.
well, talk to me about your original alliance, right? You're in an alliance with Angela, Storm, Brian, and Lauren. I, of those four, like let's say, had you gone the final five with those five, are you starting to think of like, well, like who do I want to go with? Like,
Well, it was like I said, it was my intention to.
Mhm.
I didn't know. I mean, I was just happy to have made it that far, and my ideas seemed to be working and coming to fruition. So I was like, maybe I got this game a little bit, a little bit handled. I was like, if I can just keep eliminating all these other people, just keep telling these four, like, let's just go five to the end, final five, and then we'll just all duke it out from there. And hats off to Angela, and I'm sure that's what's one of the game is she, she jumped the gun on that, and this is super smart for her to do. I was hoping that somebody wouldn't come up with that idea. I thought of it myself, but yeah, I didn't do it.
So Barbara goes out the next morning.
Yeah.
And then you do the when it rains, it pours.
She gives me the.
And you get the medallion.
I do.
For your first time, too.
For my first time.
Are you worried at all?
She was really salty when she gave it to me because she was all bent out of shape about that holy triumvirate trifecta. I'm giving it a new name. Yeah. So she just really didn't like that. And so what was the question now?
You get the medallion. Are you worried?
Yeah, because at this point, that is, I just want a memory challenge. So like I'm like, oh man, how am I going to explain that I got 8 out of 10 right? I've been spending this whole game saying my memory's bad, and then so I had to really ham it up and just act like I was really, really amazed. And everyone's like, wow, you really did it. And I mean, this game has seen plenty of people trying to act dumb, and I have my own special blend of dumb that I play, and part of it's real. But I'm sure people have caught on just by my word choice alone sometimes. But so I was worried, yeah, because I got the damn medallion. And Barb was kind of salty on her way out, and I was like, well, she's not voting for me. And then we go to the
challenge. You have to keep your hand above your head, or you get dunked on with water.
Loved that challenge. Loved it. And I didn't win that challenge.
You break the record before dropping.
Yes. And I want to be a good sport, but I'm also trying to be as honest as possible. I could have kept my arm up for another hour. I found I was doing sign language with my hands. My right arm was jacked, so I was like, all right, I got to use my left hand. Angela and Lauren were the only ones left, and Angela said, I really need this. She was, crying a lot before, and I figured there were 2 people in my alliance that, that I didn't care who won because I didn't feel nervous that I was going home. We had just, we were trying to ride that majority. I thought we were going to ride that majority to 5. So I was confident in that. So once we broke the record, I pulled down. And what I think that did for me was show that I'm not a challenge beast, and also that I showed that I had trust in my tribe mates. Because winning 2 challenges, 2 immunity challenges, then that puts a target on me, and also demonstrated trust. So I pulled out. That is not to diminish Lauren's win, because I dropped out on my own volition, and she still had to compete against Angela, and Lauren won. So hats off to you. I just made a decision, and it wasn't necessarily tiredness, but I had my own reasons for that.
So I'm gonna Sidetrack to this comment from Dina. You caught her drunk eating from a pot of beans.
What?
Do you remember this?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know. This comment just makes me laugh.
Yeah. It's fun. I run a bar, and thank you, Dina. Those beans look good. uh, but I was sleeping around a bunch of people, and the last thing you want me to do is eat beans. But I mean, I run a bar. People, and we have like live music every night, and we have liquor, booze, hookahs, tacos, the whole deal. DJs. There's always people trying to bootleg alcohol in, so you have to like look around and see who's looking, uncomfortable, looking sketchy. So I guess that's where that comes from. Also, my staff, who's walking out with an extra, 6-pack.
So back to the game. Lauren just won immunity. What was supposed to be the strategy? What was the strategy that you were being told going into this vote?
This is when it gets weird, because we had been walking back. And it kind of makes sense after hearing Angela, but I'm keeping what I've heard from her. And in fact, I forget most of it. Sharif is still in the picture, and I haven't talked about him for a while, but man, he is the biggest, busiest bee. It was like so impressive. I wanted to tell him that I appreciated his ability to like move, get from one conversation, come back, and immediately go into another one. It was just fascinating. But I couldn't tell him that. So I told him that I thought that he was in the military just by the way he carried himself. But what I did notice from Sharif would always, Lauren tended to hang back just because she walked slow. And Sharif, in a lot of the processions, tended to be in the front, or in case he had to have a conversation with somebody, would kind of hover around in the middle. When it was a deeper conversation, he would like float off to the left or right. But in these last, just like how people sleep, where they walk in the procession, the last couple ones, Sharif was kind of hanging in the back, walking at Lauren's pace. I saw them whispering a lot. I tried to frustrate that a little bit by walking slow and getting in the middle of them. I'm sure they didn't like that, but I had the medallion. I threw the immunity challenge, so I was worried, because I mean it could be me. That was the only time I was really worried, because I was like, well, look, why don't you give me your immunity necklace, Lauren? And that negates that vote.
Yep.
And she was like, you don't have anything to worry about. And I was like, well, why not? What's going on? She's like, just don't worry about it. Right. I tried to bring it up to Angela, and she was on the plan to vote Ryan out. And just like, this is the first time that I felt that something was not right. And I mean, it could have been me. I thought that was my time, but it ended up being Ryan.
And so you're kind of so the vote being told you is like a unanimous Sharif vote.
At this point, the whole game, I tried to demonstrate an ability to work with Sharif. I was like, Sharif, I know we can't get on the same page for some reason, but I'm not writing your name down. I'm not writing your name down. And then finally, I told him, I was like, well, Sharif, you keep writing my name down, so bets are off. I can write your name down. I think that's where we were going. And again, I don't know if you know the vote count. I can't remember.
Yeah. So what happens is Angela, Lauren, Sharif, and Megan vote out Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan and Storm both vote Sharif, and you vote your favorite player, Megan.
Yeah. And I think I said at this time, I was like, this is the third time I'm voting for you. If you slip through this, then you'll get one more. Like basically to win, because the numbers are down so low that if she gets through this, then she's going all the way to the end. That was super, super frustrating, because that blew up my whole strategy, which was, go, be the swing vote in a 5. And as much as I told, Angela that I was going to, The cuddles were real, because she was warm and it was cold out there. But I had talked to Storm and Ryan just the way Angela and Lauren were talking to me. I was also making that headway in with Storm and Ryan, and to be honest, I really didn't care whichever two. I figured that would become evident at some point. But until then, I didn't think I had to worry about it. Once I saw, now this was 8 people, not 7, because you have to remember the medallion.
Yeah, the 8 votes.
So, I mean, in Survivor, if you're going to do something, 7's, the odd number, and 7 is especially the hot number to do something, right? That's where it's like far enough in the game where you can like demonstrate a move so it has a recency effect, but not enough time for people to actually amass.
So you were expecting things to go down next round.
Yeah. I thought we had one more, but that makes sense to use a block of 2 who were on the chopping block. And I'm just, surprised I didn't think of it first. So
what were you doing getting back to camp after being blindsided?
So I figured this is a whole new paradigm. First off, Storm and I get together and we'll be like, we got to stick together because they lied to you and me. So we're going to get together later and make a plan. I went to Angela and Lauren and I'm like, I know what you did. It didn't really affect me except that, I wasn't involved in the vote. So that made me think something was up. But it took out somebody that I wouldn't have to take out otherwise. And I didn't get blood on my hands. So I was pretty happy with that. So I went to them and I was like, I'm just going to play salty for a little while. Because who expects the person that you just screwed over to continue to work with you? So I felt that by me pretending to be mad at them, I don't know if it even worked.
This is where we get my favorite confessional. This is one of those little salty bash, and you're kind of lying on the ground like this. You're like, it's right after the final 7 vote, and you're just kind of unhappy.
I was surprised, but I wasn't really unhappy. I mean, it wasn't me. If it was me, I would be unhappy. So I figured I still wanted to work with them, and they took out somebody. I know that they were taking, this was the time to make a move. And I'm like, great. Now those 2 got a little resume on them. But looking at the jury, I'm like, Megan and Sharif and the whole Blue Alliance, they were really, I was not a blue in their eyes anymore, I believe, especially after helping eliminate some of them. Sorry. I just thought that it would be hard for people to believe that I would be able to continue to work with somebody like that, especially after I spent my whole game trying to make people believe that I was playing, emotionally. So everything that I was doing, again, the more emotionally I looked, less strategically, I would be perceived. So I continued to work with Angela, but also keeping it at arm's length. She wanted to get out Lauren. That was one of them, so Lauren was the next move.
I like to throw some hypotheticals your way.
Yes. I'll try my best.
What if at the final 7, so this is the vote where Ryan goes home, what if Angela and Lauren come to you and say, we're voting Ryan out, vote with us? What do you do?
I would probably try to save him for one more vote, and at least because there were still 2 variables I did not want. Now remember, these are the same very 2 people that I identified from day 1 as wearing all black that were going to be players in this game, and I was like, they're still here. These are, they have to go. I just had the gut feeling on them, and so I would try to. And again, I knew about the Girls Alliance or the girls, just that Megan was really wanting, a girl to win. I figured there has only been one girl winner. I brought it up the first day. I was like, how is it there's only been one female winner on this one? So I didn't help. I don't really care much about the gender and everything like that. I don't really think that should come into play. But where there's smoke, there's fire. I knew it was a possibility. But if she wanted to get Ryan out, I didn't think there was time to turn. I thought another round, or one more of those two out.
How important was, I know Ryan was going to be very important to your final 5 game plan, but was Ryan someone you wanted to sit at the final 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ryan, now I know I've said it in some confessionals, and again, I'm sorry guys, you're still my wolf pack, I promise. um, I just really loved that 4. They were just amazing and friendly, and like, I'll be friends with them after this game. And I was like, I'm not even friends with any of these people. But yeah, no, I was looking at speaking ability. I knew Angela had it. I knew Lauren was really starting to flag because of malnourishment. I think Storm had kind of a happy-go-lucky attitude. I did not realize like that he was just so conniving. Man, that guy's amazing. And Ryan just kept his cards close to his chest, but he, I felt like maybe I'll be able to, out talk him at tribal. So yeah, Ryan and Storm would have been my 2.
So going back now that we're at the final 6, Ryan's gone. When did Angela tell you that she wanted to vote at Lauren? Was that post immunity challenge, pre immunity challenge?
Now we're getting some gray area. Lauren had the medallion, right?
Yep.
So it just seemed pretty obvious that that Lauren was going to be the easy vote on that one. I mean, she was one of the 2 people that basically at this point I'm just like, man, there are nothing but like hardcore players here. I'm like, how can I, and I was like, and they're all looking at me like, I guess I'm the GOAT. Because I'm really going to have to sell this at the end. And I mean, I'll get into what I was thinking at the end, but obviously I'm not going to lay down and die.
Yeah.
So I had to make my best decisions to, who to take to the end. And everyone had been saying that Lauren was, such a power player, but I never really saw it. So maybe she was that good that, I don't know who drove that Ryan decision. Angela did say that it was Lauren. So that could just be, that could just be her way, to get me to vote her out. She had the medallion. I figured it was good to throw some numbers on her. And so, and she was somebody that was not me and somebody that left me out of a vote. So I felt a little betrayed. So I was acting a little bit emotionally. But I still knew that we had 3 because Storm and I decided to work with Angela, and I still didn't trust Megan or Sharif.
Do you want to talk a little bit about this immunity challenge? Because this is the race to fire making challenge that you end up winning.
Yes. My favorite.
More than memory.
Yes. Have you gone through the whole, what we had to do? I'll tell you. I'll make it real quick because I
don't recall the exact details. I think you have to get the key, and you drop your key behind the post at some point.
Yeah. So you'd have to make the thing with the sticks and the twine and reach out and grab the hook. But then I knocked my key behind it, so I had to pull it back and make like a 90-degree angle hook, and so that worked. Ran up, got the tinder, and already Megan was out there, Fire Queen. But the materials that they gave you in this box were like not great for making fire. It was like this plasticky twine, some, we had to use bamboo, plasticky twine, and that's it. Apparently there's some matches in there. I didn't even need it. So I ran back. Megan I figured she would have already had it. I was like, I cannot work with this stuff. So I ran back to get the twine from the stick and use the twine because I knew that would burn. And then I ran over to the lake and grabbed some dried seagrass and the tops of bamboo Just created my own materials. I was like, it's all around us. Came back and did a big pile of magnesium and crushed it. And I used the mic from Survivor 42 approach of just chucking a bunch of garbage on the fire until it burned up. And then I used the toolbox that the materials came in and my body to protect the fire from the wind. Still have no, I guess it's gone now. Took some burns. But I could not live that down. That was one I really wanted. So immediately.
I remember seeing in the strategy before this next vote there's a lot of conversations with you, Storm, and Shreve saying like the guys need to come together, come together. Was there any validity to that, or is just, or at this point, Shreve, you're looking to vote Riley's name down as soon as possible?
This is a strategy that Sharif had started from the beginning. He was like, "We got to stay, strong guys." And I just figured it was him playing me as a 50-year-old guy, thinking that I played like some Survivor 101 strategy, be like, guy strong, guy strong. This is what resonates with this elder gentleman. I was like, all right, so he underestimates me, great. And then he tries to bring it up later, and that's just not really a strategy that I, obviously if he's saying it and he has no room to go at this point. I mean, he has 4 other options, but I felt like the writing was on the wall, that it was, him or Megan. And I believe, did they write each other's names down?
I don't think they ever wrote each other's names down.
Really?
Yeah.
Call it from day one, man. Those guys were together in cahoots, and you never admitted it, people. Come on.
So Lauren gets voted at the final 6.
Yes.
You don't receive any votes here, and that takes us now to day 8, the final 5.
Okay.
At this point of your original lines, you have you, Angela, Storm. Are you now really locked in? This is it.
We're locked in.
Okay.
We're locked in. I feel like everybody thinks they can beat me at the end. And yeah, I think, and I felt that I could beat them. So I think we all had that mutual understanding that it was time, let's lock this in and you take out the threats.
Now, is there anything you want to talk about with the Megan vote off and the Sharif vote off, the final 5, final 4 vote?
I know you were trying to wrap it up. How long have we been on the line together? Too long, huh?
2 hours, 20 minutes.
Huh?
2 hours, 20 minutes. But
oh my God, man! I was just calling Angela out for being on for 2:40. I'm so sorry, man. I get a little
you're not gonna try to beat her, are you? We can try.
What?
We can try to beat her.
Maybe I could get the record. No, I won't do that to you.
Currently, it's 2 hours 55 minutes is my record. Let's not.
No. I appreciate what you do, and I think everybody here. I said that before, but I gotta say it again, man.
Thank you. I'm grateful that you're here to talk through it with me. So,
dude, I'm really enjoying this. Hopefully, this makes some sense to people. So yeah, Sharif vote. I had him pretty convinced though that this was our only option because the girls are getting wily. They're doing some crazy moves out there. So he just thought he probably had a better shot with me and Storm. So needed to come up with a plausible argument to get us to go with it. And we made him believe it. He voted for Angela, and we voted for Sharif. For the Megan vote, wait, who came first? Was it Sharif or Megan?
Sharif was out. And Sharif, he also to do a small.
Oh, yeah, Megan was final 4. But did you see the round of applause that Megan got on? I mean, that was a right move. I felt it, man. She was just a she beast. But to that effect, had she gone earlier, I mean, Megan was my shield. For I was like, I'm the only I could keep up with her in the challenges. So
So you end up writing Megan's name down 4 times over the course of the game.
Yeah. Does that put her? That doesn't beat my record for number of votes. How many votes did I get this game?
So you got the most votes. You had the most votes received of any player in the game, and you weren't even voted out. You received 10 votes over the course of the game.
Sweet. That's a record.
For this season, yes. Second place. Do you know who got the second most highest votes?
Me?
Lauren, unfortunately, with 9.
Lauren, yeah. Cool. How many?
So Lauren got 9 votes, and then a handful of people got 8. So Sharif got 8 votes the course of the season. Keenan got 8 votes. And then I guess there's a fair amount with 7.
Okay, good. Yeah. So final three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So lay it down. So how were you looking to pitch yourself to the jury?
I was trying to go in like I knew that people weren't going to understand my game.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of dumbed myself down. I might have did it too well.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to leave little Easter eggs, just some, perpetuate the narrative with, words like that, So I think I gave people glimpses of, that I had some intelligence in somewhere. Being late, forgetful, eating worms, all of that just was just trying to show that I was, out there, and I wanted to lay out, what I did during the game, and let people know that things didn't always go my way, but I did, take a hand in voting everybody out on the jury except for Ryan. My strategy was, etc. My final, everything that I've said already. I'm trying to keep the time short.
No, don't worry about it.
But I don't know. I thought that I would maybe have all of the blue votes, just as last man standing, and the fact that I survived so many votes over in the yellow as a merge. I wanted to get into all these things, but it seemed like I did not anticipate it felt like a poison jury to me a little bit, or like a lot of people said I didn't know much about your game. So Angela, Storm, and I invited people at the beginning to to ask me more about my philosophy and my unconventional game style, but I don't feel like I was afforded the opportunity to explain myself. Instead, there were other questions like, what's your favorite cartoon animal? And I just blanked because that's not where my mind was. By the way, it's Bugs Bunny. Always, a little sassy, always, chased by the hunters, but somehow gets out of it.
I did forget a question, because you have that reward challenge at Final 3, and when you solve a puzzle and you get to give an extra vote to someone, and you're not giving it to Ryan, you're not giving it to Megan. So why KC?
Well, I wasn't sure that I wasn't getting Megan's vote. I thought, because we had been so adversarial this whole time, I outlasted her. So I thought I would get that. KC, because I was pretty sure that they weren't just making up the amount of, not animosity, but just againstfulness, we'll say, of KC. So I was like, well, I think he doesn't like either of these people. So, I never really met the guy. I met him a couple of times, tried to talk strategy. He was already ingratiated with Sharif and Megan and that whole gang. So he didn't even try to talk shop with me. So I thought it was odd, but it was the only person that I thought would actually do a resentful vote, against people instead of for me, which would give it to me.
Yeah, I think that's a good call, considering I think you would find out at Final Travel, Casey had very strong feelings at the time against Storm.
Yeah. I did not expect him to absolutely just adore Angela's game, and now I just didn't think she had. I didn't think she had. I know she had the one Ryan move. I didn't see her game. And it was probably happening all around me. I guess everybody else saw it, and I was just the dumbass. And maybe I was the idiot after all. But I felt in my world, I had a shot, and I think there was a speech, that could at least change people's minds, because even though they did not afford me the ability to get there, and I don't resent them for it. I mean, because you have to write out you have to think about this in advance.
Yeah.
So, everybody had their questions on cards,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they're still in the game, and it's still about them at this point. And I didn't take it. I didn't, go out there and, demand to give an explanation. It felt like the minds were already made up a little bit, and I don't even regret it. I got out the people I wanted to get out. I played from the bottom, created what I thought was an underdog alliance. I identified my targets. So I achieved every objective and employed my strategy pretty much to a T. And it did not resonate with the with the jury. I learned a lot of things, made some friends, had some great experiences, and played some really awesome challenges that I've only seen on the television. And I've never played this kind of stuff. And apparently everybody plays all this stuff all the time, knows these people, hangs out with them, has their phone numbers and all that stuff. So for making it the final three and not having the prior experience of jury management or the backdoor politicking and stuff, this is my first opportunity in the real arena, and I think I crushed it.
So looking back at your game as a whole, do you feel like you just wish you had refigured that initial jury speech, the kind of shock and change expectations, or are there other moments I should have done things differently that should maybe change the outcome of the game more in my favor?
Well, small micro moments when when somebody was up there and they were basically like when Keenan was like, "You're rabid," now on to someone else. I could have recaptured that conversation. That was my moment to capture it and, reframe the narrative and be like, yeah, you know what? I was rabid. I got thrown because I've already played these through my head. I got thrown to the wolves and I turned into my wolf pack. And then I came back like Che Guevara and fucking, or whatever. But I could have went hyper. I just didn't feel like it was heading my way. I was also exhausted, and I think Storm said it pretty well. He's like, you let your guard down a little bit after you made it to the final three, and you're just like, all I gotta do is tell my story. You're not ready for the barrage coming at you. I mean, it's there, but you don't know it until it hits you like 100-pound weight.
Well, so the elements take a much more toll than you expect at the end game, right? It's 8 days in. Sleeping is hard. You've gotten some rewards, but you're not eating a ton. Were you surprised with how much the elements took a toll on you, or was that not a huge factor in your game?
I didn't feel like it was that horrible. My foot got a little pruny. I was cold at night, but I found people to snuggle up next to. Also rolled myself up in the tarp like a burrito. The hunger was not horrible. Again, I mean, Applebee's, a toasty sub, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, some worms, some clovers, and don't forget the hot sauce. Lots of hot sauce.
So
if anybody still stayed tuned for this, and they this is why I saved this for last.
So remind me, so Barbara pulls out the mini Tabasco sauce and gives a spiel with the Tabasco sauce. What was going on with that exactly?
Have you not heard of this from anybody else? Good. I'm glad I can.
I don't think so.
I am a thief. When we knew there was a merge, and I forget, the idea was there was some talk about camp about there being a merge, like I guess after the idols, the people with the medallions left, and we were going to disseminate the rice accordingly between people from the Unoga camp. And so we all had something. So because we knew at the other tribe, at the yellow tribe, there were 9 people and they were crushing through their rice pretty hard.
So this is before the first swap.
Before the first swap.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I was like, don't leave anything around. The fire making kit, this stuff, let's put it in our bags and take it. So before leaving, I put the hot sauce in my bag. because I did not want. I didn't know what was going to happen. I just knew I needed to protect the hot sauce. Then I ended up over on the yellow tribe, and I needed to blend in. So I was like, Blue's going to want me back sometime. I'm going to have to break out the hot sauce for the sake of Blue, and also for my stomach, because the hot sauce was really good. And that was another thing that I think 4 drops of hot sauce, I think was like, man, he's sharing his hot sauce with us, man. He must really be loyal. Yeah, so I stole it. And apparently that was I don't know, there was a big thing for Barb. She always had to have something on me. There is one more thing.
All right.
Because I am a thief. All right.
It's the tell-all.
This is the tell-all.
Is this someone else's shirt?
All right. That's it.
Wait,
You didn't watch, you don't get it. Well, I was hoping some comments would show up, but I'm such a, I talked for so long that this shirt was in the game. Okay. So someone tell me whose shirt it is.
Okay, so you took Josh's shirt?
I didn't take Josh's shirt. First off, to be clear, Josh came in with 2 shirts. He came in with this shirt and a Hawaiian shirt over it. Production didn't catch it. And I felt that it was unfair for Josh to have 2 shirts. We were coming back from an immunity challenge that I believe we lost, and there was this crumpled up blue thing on the ground. I picked it up, knew immediately whose it was, and I threw it in the woods. And then because he had another shirt. You only have 1 shirt in the game, right? Right?
I only have 1 shirt.
Yeah, one short sleeve shirt. So I thought that it would be fair to do that. And besides, he was on the other tribe and he wasn't treating me very kindly. So I felt that it was the right thing to do. After all, I was out for myself. I figured that would make him a little bit colder and it would make me a little happier. I'm sorry. That's me in the game. Now with Josh, maybe we could go out and get some pizza or something. And he could get
a shirt swap.
Yeah. Josh, if you send me your address, I'll mail this to you. But I will have your address, so be careful.
So yeah, we have another question from Ryan. Explain your arrowhead hoax.
Oh, the arrowhead was not a hoax. I found an arrowhead near the fire pit, and I tried to give it to Ryan because I was like, "Look, there's a arrowhead." But then I found out later that the immunity idol had one arrowhead missing. So apparently you can buy like millions of arrowheads. I was like, this is not even used. I tried to give it to Ryan. He was like, no, I can't keep this. But everybody in production thought it was. They're like, wow, real arrowhead. Yeah, had I known, I might have tried to do something with it. Ryan, I can't believe you stuck with me for like 2.5 hours. I'm so happy, man. No, that would have been good. That's where it came from, by the way. It came off the immunity idol. So, what else you want to know, man?
Well, I'm gonna kind of throw some rapid fire questions at you, and I just want to hear your takes. So, favorite challenge?
Fire making challenge.
Favorite tribe site?
The Ritz-Carlton.
Favorite handler?
I kind of wasn't down with Frank for a minute, but he kind of grew on me. His like sassiness wore down a little bit. I don't know. All of them were awesome. I'll just go with Reynolds just to pick one.
Lowest moment?
Last man standing at Yellow Tribe.
Highest moment? Who surprised you the most out there?
Who surprised me the most? Oh man, Angela. If everybody saw that great of a game from her, and I didn't see it coming, I still don't know exactly what they saw. I just I didn't see it. Just hearing her conversations, her side deals with Megan, and I thought I had her in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
But she is a hustler. So I'm super, super happy that either one or two of those, Storm or Angela, could have won, and I would have been, or me, but I would have been, just as pleased. So yeah, she surprised me the most. Actually, Storm kind of surprised me the most too, man. So either one of those two.
Who do you wish you had a chance to work with but didn't?
Julia and Carly.
Mm-hmm.
I kept telling them, let's have an uprising, and they didn't want it.
If you had made an uprising at the start of the game, like it would have been interesting. It's just interesting to kind of think of how would that have affected everything else, right? If you had because imagine like who would have voted out? Like so let's say you work with Drew, Carly, and Julia. The first two votes. Which two people would you have voted off of your original No Good Tribe instead?
Sharif and Megan.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Favorite color, blue or yellow?
Orange.
Who would have been scary to take to the end, Megan or Sharif?
Oh, favorite color, blue or yellow for
yeah.
Yellow all the way.
Not green, not your merge tribe. No, just kidding.
No. Next question.
Who would have been scary to sit next to at the end, Megan or Sharif?
Megan.
Final two. You're on the jury. Who do you vote for, Angela or Storm?
Oh man, I'd have to hear their speeches.
So you'd be up in the air.
What's that?
You'd be up in the air.
Yeah. It'd be a flip.
And would you do this all again? Would you play another live game?
Hot damn, let's do it. I know what to expect. I didn't spill all my beans. I gotta.
You're keeping some secrets from me. I see what you're doing.
No. This is a whole undeveloped thing, but it's coming together. I got some just crazy notes, man. I got a whole new character. You won't recognize me.
How do you think this experience is going to change how you maybe watch Survivor or understand Survivor?
I didn't really place a big emphasis on the, my game, my strategy was not the, outlie, out backstab. And I just wanted to, the up front forward as much as possible. There's the type of game the conventional game that most people are accustomed to playing. There's dynamics of that. I see that now. And I know that's the type of game that hardcore players know how to interpret and value.
Mm-hmm.
Love you, kid. Hey, come say hi.
Yeah, your camera.
I want. No, come on.
See?
Yes.
No.
Okay, that's my kid. Good night, Veda. I'll come tuck you in a minute. Okay, go. I'm almost done.
Yeah.
Love you. So that's the kind of game that players respect and value and understand. There's my daughter, Veda.
Hello.
Hi.
And that's Ducky. Very, very popular stuff.
Welcome to the podcast.
Almost done. Go brush your teeth.
Yeah, we have a couple minutes left. We're wrapping up.
So I need to figure out how to implement a little bit of that into my game, to where my big game can be seen instead of banking on a big reveal at the end. They gotta understand a little bit more about what I'm doing it, when I'm doing it, but not but not shocking enough to to get me voted out.
It's that delicate balance. Is like, how do I make the jury see my game without everyone else being like, "Oh my gosh, get him out of here"?
Yeah. I did a little bit of it, but I can do better next time. So I very much look forward to hopefully getting to play maybe against you. Would you play again?
Oh, I'm really want to play another game. It's not happening this summer. Hopefully, a future summer I'll be able to go and play again. Just because it's a lot of fun, and I feel like I every time I learn something about myself and come up with a new group of friends.
Okay, now I got 3 rapid fire questions for you.
Oh, okay.
Favorite
Let's
number?
do this. Say that again.
Favorite number?
6.
Favorite color?
Blue.
Do you play a musical instrument?
Piano.
There we go. That's it. Now you all know.
Now
Anything
you all
else you
know.
want to ask me?
Do you have any personal takeaways from this season?
There's a huge survival world out there, a lot deeper, like Dungeons and Dragons-y level that I thought I was a super fan. I am nothing close compared to what is out there. It's opened my eyes to a very scary world that I could probably, knowing my obsessive nature, could fall down a deep, dark survivor hole. And, I don't know. So I have to be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was my biggest takeaway from this. There are some students of the game out that I played against, and I feel like I held my weight. But man, I learned a lot of strategies that I will implement should I ever play this thing again.
Well, I think playing a live game immediately elevates anyone to super fandom, just because this is the dream that so many people watch it, so many people like armchair quarterback it, but it's everything, all bets are off when you actually go play yourself and to do what you did to get where you get, and especially surviving the votes you survived. It's an amazing accomplishment. So Bash, just thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me here tonight.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. And anybody who watched all this for this long, thank you so much for, caring what I got to say. But, yeah. We had a blast.
Everyone, thank you for tuning in. This is the 6th interview of many to come. I am planning to talk to Lauren tomorrow at 7 Central Time, and then Megan on Wednesday. Then I have to take a break to go on vacation, so we will resume in July. This is all give or take my dissertation.
Awesome.
So yeah, Bastion, thank you so much for your time. And anything do you want to close us out?
All right.
Bye, Sean.
All right. See you later. Take care.
Bye, all.
All right. Peace.